that we are about to witness today. This has been a draft, as mentioned by our panelists, that very much resembles ONIC PH. But ONIC PH, as mentioned by King Kong, are looking to perform much better today compared to yesterday. Welcome to game number 1, and we're heading into the Land of Dawn. Mirko, you've had a lot of thoughts regarding the exchange in the draft, but which among these two teams are you leaning into for now?
I've always been kind of biased to damage, so I gotta say SRG, and it just starts out like that. Damage has really been the ultimate win condition in this meta. You have more of it, usually you win games, and SRG, yeah, as LaFell said, as you said, this looks like a very ONIC Philippines draft, and hey, they're utilizing it well. They're already punishing Super Prince with a low E on the hands of Stormy. That's
a kill and a Purify that was already forced out of the mid laner, but they're gonna try and trade it in here too.
The flicker should be killed back. Super Prince able to get the damage done. King Kong takes the kill. Yums will flicker out, and it will just be an early trade of kills for the mid lane. One down.
Yep, that has been such a quick response from ONIC PH. Typically, you would be taking a bit more time, especially in terms of the jungle rotations, given the current meta, but now that King Kong has his hands on the back shot, it seems like it's something you could be expecting a bit more to come in for ONIC PH. Taking a quick look at the emblems as well, at the very least, Super Prince still went with that pull yourself together, so he will be having his Purify again. So, oh my goodness.
Hey, they took that first blood personal. Skies now pops in, electrifying beats over to Brusco. Still has enough peel from King Kong too. But King Kong is a level down. This is something that we actually spoke about, at least backstage. Me in a group with Midnight, talking about the early rotations of King Kong that really has been not as effective in the last few matches, but here on the box shot, it just feels like it fits in. Innocent unable to get the shot on that cannon minion.
Innocent is very, very low. Maybe this is why they prioritize the Earthquake. Oh!
Two-man pin down. Yums able to turn things around with the sustain. King Kong pops in, voice shot, brought back again by the duality. He will be able to get away. Kirk is right there, pops in the curtain call, but it's only onto Kram as he goes in for I am not just yet actually, Vengeance, and Kirk backs away.
Interesting. ONIC PH were the ones who have been putting the much faster rotations out there. King Kong and the other members were the first to be in that turtle pit, but wait, hold on.
Pin down, I'm offended, and the Don't Run Wolf King locks him down. Kram with the specialty here in game 1. That's a double and a diversion that they won't take.
It's just to probably keep ONIC PH on their toes right now. SRG.OG are clearly in the lead, and they've been playing the early game relatively well. We'll be checking that instant replay right now. It was right after they took that turtle. You did mention that Kram didn't go for the I am offended just yet, but it seems like they were after more. So they didn't just settle with the objective. They literally wanted to establish this 1K lead that they currently have by getting more kills after ONIC PH.
This Ruby is what got them that final game. Obviously, it's also with the Roger. Last year in the Grand Finals up against Falcons AP Brent. So you can definitely see the Kram, I mean, he's so comfortable on this pick. He knows exactly the limits of this hero, when to go in, holding on to the I'm offended, just peeling for the team until the right moment comes in to get that massive one to turn things around. And even with the utility jungle, King Kong's HP bar, you know, hasn't really been helping ONIC Philippines. They haven't been able to utilize that sustain because I guess SRG just have too much damage.
That's where the entire damage conversation goes in. And again, you pair it up with the Lu Yi, who Stormy, even just now, we saw decided to use the diversion that wasn't really after anything. It's just a diversion that was used to threaten ONIC PH. And SRG.OG with this kind of lineup, and the lead that they already have, can just keep going for all those surprise plays with the diversions, with the I am offended. And that's not to mention Yums, because Yums, he's been a little bit more conservative so far. He's been there just to protect the title strikes come in at the right timings, and the knockups. Those are going to be very crucial as well, because a single well-timed knockup, even up to 2 members of ONIC PH, could definitely change the flow and tide of the game. And that's what we might be seeing right now, because Yums is holding the brush. Oh, but he gets spotted by King Kong.
Yep, the shield unity able to open up the bush there. The curtain call already baited out as well as Kram. This kites away, traction pulse lands on Yums. King Kong still on it. Kram with the I'm offended again, but Brusco goes through a fist cry, able to disengage as well. King Kong wins the red tree battle as Kirk zones them in the back line. That's gonna be I'm offended and flicker combo, bringing him back into Skies to get the kill. Electrifying beats, King Kong holding his own in the front. Kelra jumps in the heavy crossbow, going to play again. That's going to be Cram pinned down, able to dash out to safety. And it is ONIC Philippines the way, but Stormy goes in all alone. What? Skies again jumping in, but has to respect ONIC Philippines.
An interesting call, but Crab still going for the I am offended. The Purify will be forced out of Super Friends as well, but I wonder what the idea was from SRG.OG, because the moment that they were spotted out by ONIC PH, it did feel like they were just too confident to go in. They set the tempo for that particular team fight, but there wasn't anyone from ONIC who was that low for Stormy to risk going in and surprising them from the back lines. Oh, but Kirk, he won't survive that.
Nope. Tsunami Slam under turret. Brusco caught in a bad spot, and Stormy gets back to even score. Every time Stormy dies, he's able to, balance it out with the assists too. 3 deaths, 3 kills, 3 assists. It has just been SRG who've been capitalizing more off of the mistakes of ONIC Philippines.
Yep. But right now, they're the first to actually take a turret away from ONIC PH2, so the lead is just growing for SRG.OG. Great reactions from Keller as well, not putting himself in such a dangerous spot, but this is an immediate response from King Kong too. That's a lot of damage coming in from Innocent, however, even despite the early game which we've seen him go through up against the Irithel, where it felt like Keller was just doing a great job. He's actually leading by, even if we say it's just a bit, that's actually massive for a Granger up against an Irithel, but Cram?
Absolutely. Like you said, this small lead can build up to a massive one. And here's the thing about the Ruby, right? Yes, you can poke him down, but he has ridiculous amounts of sustain, so he'll be back up with another mini wave.
That's just how quick he can find his way back into the team fight. If others have to reset, look for certain creeps just to find some of their HP. Oh, what? King Kong actually goes back.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be the disengage, but he actually walks back up. Cram again, full HP with the Brave Smite, with the Ruby. Innocent with poke over to Super Friends. King Kong holding onto the turtle right now. Super Friends gets got to half HP.
Oh, he has the traction pulse now, though. He might go for it. Oh, there you go. That's going to be Cram targeted, but Yones!
In the back, Skies winning on the retreat battle. Now Brusco with the fist crack, but it's defensive. They go over to Tsunami Slam over to King Kong, but he's still going to be tanking up so much. It's Kirk jumps back in with a vengeance. Able to tank up. King Kong shredded down very low. Innocent gets a double, and it's 2 on the Sky Piercer.
And we just mentioned the entire small leads build up into bigger leads and bigger problems now for ONIC PH. The amount of damage that came in from Innocent dealt with both the tankiest frontliners here of ONIC PH. Kirk did a great job. Again, the Vengeance 2 was a huge part in how that team fight was sort of a bit more prolonged for ONIC PH, but Innocent literally didn't care. He went for the ones who were blocking the damage dealers, and so it made things a bit more difficult for Super Friends, for Kelra, just to find the right position to land all those heavy crossbows and all those basic attacks.
And just like MSC 2024, SRG are playing their style of MLBB, where it's aggression or offense is the best defense. This is how they play front to back for Innocent. It's an unorthodox way to play front to back, because usually you just have tanks in front, but they have damage in front. That way, ONIC Philippines are kind of messed up. Like, they can't really dive in because they can't ignore the front line. And Innocent, in the end, gets all those free shots.
Yeah, that's Innocent with already 3 core items. And Sekai's just now already picked up the Holy Crystal as well. So in 8 minutes, SRG.OG can already be considered to definitely be online. Stormy does feel like he's serving a bit more of utility in this current situation, but do they have an idea, or does Brusco actually want to go for this? Yums is there protecting Innocent, but it won't be enough!
Chain CC with the shield unity! What a pick from Brusco! Holds onto his position in the bush and gets all the value, but there was no shutdown. This is the thing about SRG right now. Their lead has mostly come through objective. I mean, there has been a few kills, but there's no actual bounty to turn the game around yet.
Yeah. It's too evenly distributed across the members of SRG.OG. They've just been that much well coordinated in terms of the team fights and how it's been going so far, but there's a potential diversion we might be seeing from Stormy. Where is it gonna go? Oh, Kirk has an idea.
Opposite current call as well. Cram with the I'm offended again. It's gonna be Yomes jumping to the back line, but the Purify comes in for Kelra. Traction pulse locks Yomes. Skies goes in, but it's gonna be peeled down by Brusco. He fights the fist crack. Skies. Electrify beats Innocent. Gets the shot with the Rhapsody. All of those connecting and finding the man, Kelra.
And it's not usual for us to see the opposing team find a way to land their skills or to basically gain access towards Kelra. It's always Kelra who usually is the last man standing, usually turns the tides for his team, but this is a completely different situation now. Innocent with the range and with the way that SRG.OG have been just constantly breaking the formation of ONIC PH, they've made it a bit more easier to target one of the most crucial heroes in ONIC PH's lineup now.
And now it gets even more difficult for ONIC Philippines to get to Innocent. Sure, he was caught off guard earlier, but now he has a win of nature. So it really comes down to Prince to be the one to get the execute kills, to dish out damage in the team fights. And you can see that massive lead for Innocent in the gold lane as we were talking about this matchup. Everybody had their eyes in the gold lane, and man, Innocent's making it looking rough for Kelra.
We've been putting so much highlight on Kelra after multiple highlight plays that he's done yesterday. And if he's able to find another one here, then I don't know what to say anymore, but all the more do they have to work on the defense first. There are waves coming in from SRG.OG's side and a Lord that's still full HP marching down bottom. At least they have two marksmen who could potentially deal with this. Oh, but speaking of, now we reduce that just to one marksman now.
Holy shield down below taken down, but also Kelra getting assassinated by the Prince up top. Skies. Hey, a lot of questions onto Skies. Utility meta, how's he gonna do? He gets on a signature Joy, and he pops off. Cram opening up again. Superpen's gonna be caught by the Yin reaction. A few shots by Innocent, forcing him all the way back to base.
That hurts. Okay, they find the I'm offended on King Kong. That's a lot of damage already coming in from SRG.OG. And mind you, this is already a Kimmy who does have the talisman first item, but also the blood wing. So there should be a bit more of the shield. There should be a bit more ways for him to take all that damage, but it does seem like SRG just has too much. A single combo from the duality from Stormy is already able to bring him down to half HP. And if you even look at the damage dealt ranking, Innocent, Stormy, they're just up there. ONIC PH have a lot of catching up to do in terms of that. And how long will it still take for them before they hit their power spikes or spikes, as you mentioned it?
Hey, we'll have to see how long they need. I mean, through the item builds right now, like that power spike seems pretty far off. And the Great Dragon Spear gets built up, but he still needs the Melphic Gun here to go through that front line, which has been like really tanky. Or in a way, you won't really expect them to be tanky because it's a Kalea and Ruby. These two heroes aren't really the best of tanks, but they've just been able to brawl things out, dish out so much damage that it's more of SRG doing more than taking. ONIC Philippines on the other side, their tanks aren't built up yet. You can see Brusco really struggling in the gold department. Almost, well, again, 500 gold down, 600 gold down. The jungle is the biggest one. You can see that massive gap between the Joy and the Baksha where, yeah, King Kong's really struggling on a utility pick right now. Radiant Armor, Anti-Cuirass, he's building towards a Sky Guardian helmet, I believe. He just needs a bit more HP. That's what the team needs, but SRG are not giving any space over. Right as the objective spawns in, they're gonna go straight for it. King Kong not able to get there in time. Free for Skies.
And Cram just standing there already does so much for SRG.OG because there's a threat that if King Kong goes in and bumps into the wrong target, it'll be almost zero chances of him getting out of that because of the continuous layers of crowd control that can come in from SRG.OG. And so clearly there was an attempt from King Kong there, but they did not decide to risk it anymore. And so that's going to be another problem. Like, King Kong has such a huge responsibility on his shoulders right now to tank majority of the damage. Even Kirk has the War Axe priority here on the CC and is yet to build the other defense items that will be necessary for them to buy a bit more time for their team. So now here comes the Lord once again, marching down the bottom lane. What does ONIC PH try to do? Will they actually go for a setup there? Or does SRG just take this through the disciplined route and just focus on the turrets instead of anything else? And it seems like that's what they're planning, or that's what they intend to do.
I'd say there's no risk. I mean, there's no they don't need to do anything right now. They can just play very slow and wait. They probably did watch the matchup against Spirit yesterday for ONIC Philippines, and they saw how ONIC Philippines were able to orchestrate such a massive comeback in the later stages of the game, and it was through going a bit greedy, overextending. So SRG, They're going to play the disciplined game. They've taken risks all this time to get an 8,000 gold lead, but now with the 8,000 gold lead, never mind, Yums conceal already. That's going to be the dive in the back, Skies! Getting the assassination on Kelra again, but it's going to be traded back. No, it is a turn in the back. I'm offended by Cram. Brusco walks up, cancel out, and it's going to be caught by the shield unity under the turret, but it's still somehow able to escape. Cram surviving again. A few of the Rhapsody shots over to King Kong. Stormy surviving with the regen, just barely off of that turret, and they get a base turret up top.
I know we just mentioned patience and being a bit more disciplined, not overextending, but that could have been way different if SRG was not this much ahead. ONIC PH with just Brusco, King Kong, and Kirk try to look for another trade, but Grammy just keeps getting his HP back.
Tsunami slam over to King Kong. Yums going back in again, but King Kong gets away with the shield unity just in time. ONIC Philippines defend, but look at their base.
Okay. Overall, it was just Sekai's who they lost in exchange of all base turrets from ONIC PH and a few kills here and there. So that is clearly a win for SRG.OG. The lead hasn't been that much affected by that single pickoff they got onto Sekai's. It's still at a 7k gold lead, and they can just resume playing their game, playing a bit more disciplined and careful from this point onwards, because they definitely got what they wanted, what they needed from that level 2 Lord, and they're just 9 seconds away from potentially getting theirs next and maybe last Lord if ONIC PH doesn't find a way to deal with this. But does King Kong really want to go in first? SRG.OG, they've already positioned themselves well enough and weren't necessarily revealed by the Magic Sentry.
They got everything and more. 3 base turrets to their name. They can play the slow game again. It doesn't really favor ONIC Philippines at all here. They have to just make a decisive play up forward, but it's so difficult when SRG have so many ways to sustain, to disengage. They got like a billion dashes on Cram. Innocence always safe far back in the composition. And Skies always comes in last. Stormy, you don't even know where he is. The moment he pops up, it's behind you.
And Kelra, they have to deal with the waves up top. This is going to be a disadvantage for them, leaving King Kong to contest for the victory.
And it's Innocent who wins it out. King Kong brought back with a Tsunami Slam, still able to walk away with the help of the poison. Sky's going to be caught, has to win a crown. Will he bite the immortality? He will, just in time. Cram in the back, jumping in again. That's going to be Purify over. Keller dishes out damage with the heavy crossbow, but Brusco with immortality down. Yin-Yang reaction from Stormy. Innocent gets a double, and he'll find another. That's a triple for Innocent. Make it a maniac as Selangor Red Giants, OG Esports, tear ONIC Philippines down in Game 1.
That flicker from Sekai's, no, from Cram on the Ruby. Clutch in an attempt to save Sekai's, and that wasn't as successful as it seemed, but it was all that mattered. Even after they lost their jungler, they were able to hold down all the members of ONIC Philippines who were trying to run away. And that minion wave down bottom, it just helped him so much too. All his HP just kept going back. And you know what, even Stormy, seeing that opportunity, he was like, yeah, we could just diversion our way to the base and put an end to this right here and there.
Well, hey, you saw what SRG were able to do. Riyadh is just home turf, it feels, for Selangor Red Giants. They always somehow find a way to just get buffed up.
This is something that the Malaysian fans are definitely celebrating, but it's still game number 1. Now let's head on to our panelists to hear what they have to say and how they're going to break down what happened in this game.
Thank you very much, Brigitte, as well as Mirko. Looks like the OG ONIC Philippines draft is so good. SRG.OG had to try it out themselves, and the execution was amazing. I like that this matchup, even for the first few seconds, we already see a lot of action going on. And it's nice to see that both side laners, because we were setting it up, both Cram as well as Innocent had an amazing game. Heck, Innocent got a maniac.
Innocent got a maniac, and you know, it's hard for me to say who is better here, because Cram created an opportunity for his team. Sekai's, he was going to the back line and just destroying the opponents, and Irritel got just vanished.
I hate it, but I love it when our K2V reads out into the game. There was nothing that ONIC did to try and follow the three things we talked about. Sure, you can maybe use a third one in Kelra and say, yeah, if we got to the ultra late game, Kelra would have gotten it done. But look at this. And you'll also see it more when we go back to the highlights. Range-wise, SRG.OG have everything going for them. They have a way to re-engage, they have a way to reposition, and they win just sheer free hits from afar. And when they get diving in, ONIC PH don't have any good options to protect Kelra nor Super Prince. And that's very un-ONIC of them.
And I really like this Ruby pick because I kind of feel like moving into MSC all the way from the wild cards, Ruby is always that X factor. Honestly, Ruby is the wild card because we know how strong the Ruby is, but it doesn't really work in every single draft. Coming into this draft, going up against ONIC Philippines, where they have 3 frontliners, it does make it so that it's very punishing for an extended team fight where, like you said, Stormy as well as Innocent is able to free hit because you're not able to dodge if you're always stunned.
And you know what's interesting? Arcadia always create for his team interesting compositions. Yesterday we saw Xborg. Today we see a Ruby. And I would like to say that Kram made 100% of his job. He did everything perfect. I'm offended. All team just joining and cleaning the fight.
And you look at ONIC, it's like everyone has this extra sideline that they don't get to do, or even worse, it's their main job that they don't get to do because of what SRG.OG are bringing to the table. It's literally ONIC getting outranged, come into a fight with a sawed-off shotgun, going up against a Kraken. That is what SRG.OG looked like. They had so many ways to engage, so many ways to wrap around you, and then they wrapped around you, and then that's all that Game 1 wrote. There wasn't very much ONIC did, honestly.
I kind of feel like that's the perfect way to sum up this analysis, that the range needs to be solved. And we're going to give time for both teams to really rethink the draft going to game number 2, because we're going for a short break. But after this, we're going to be resuming the semifinals for game number 2, SRG.OG going up against ONIC Philippines.
When the world of business is constantly changing, you need to stay ahead. So what about AI to generate new possibilities? Machine learning to predict what customers will like. Or expand your business by forecasting delivery routes with real-time data. With the power of the cloud, imagine how AWS can transform your business.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the semifinals here. Welcome to the English broadcast. Right now we're looking at the S-Class mid-lane showdowns because look at this. The top 4 teams have S-tier mid laners. We got Stormy, Super Friends, Sanji, and Sons, and all of them has an S in their name. Heck, is the first one.
I think, there is something in it. S in the nickname, S tier, and all the mid laners. You feel it?
Yeah. Here's the thing. The semifinals belong to the Supreme Mages, and it really does feel like in this current patch, the mid lane is very difficult to play around, but the fact that they're all still able to create huge impact plays really says a lot about their teams, especially SRG.OG going up against ONIC Philippines, the match that we're looking at right now for both coaches, understanding the versatility of their Supreme Mages, that they allow them to go to the later stage of the draft to potentially pick up something that could counteract what the opponents can do.
And if I'm allowed to speak a little bit of truth, in game 1 of this very series, the mid laner for ONIC PH felt like he was just Prince. He wasn't very super. There wasn't much that Kimmy was bringing to the table that made SRG.OG think twice about their engagements. They just run roughshod through the map, and the Kimmy was just throwing blind traction pulses.
And that the reason not of the Prince, this is actually about Kimmy. We already discussed it a lot of times that you need a good trio to let Kimmy a good start. But on the opposite side, you got Loy E. They instantly first blood, and then they were just stomping and making more and more power to the mid laner. And Kimmy was playing from the back.
And that's what's so miserable about that draft in game 1 for ONIC Philippines. The one hero that had range for them was the one hero that was the most vulnerable. The one hero that could maybe reach the Granger quickly and safely was the one that was struggling all throughout.
And this is why I kind of feel like for this matchup, heck, all 4 teams, Assassin Junglers, Orgos, EXP laners that can dive to the backline, has high value because we're looking at amazing carries here. It doesn't matter coming from the mid, from the gold lane. And in game number 1, that joy was able to create so much chaos. Sure, you killed Kara, but by killing Kelra, all the damage is from Super Prince, the Kimmy. So without that, hey, it's going to be very difficult. But now we got a quote here coming in from Brusco. He said, "I don't think we're in our top form yet. There are still lapses in our communication because we sometimes get a little complacent and those small mistakes tend to snowball. Hopefully we can show our best performance tomorrow, which is today, especially since SRG has improved since M6.
You know what, let coach play a little bit of hardball. Communications were a very small part of what happened in game 1. I think the draft alone was what they needed to fix. So if game 2, ONIC PH can show that, hey, this wasn't working for us at all, we can get a better draft and maybe show that your communications are better, don't get complacent, then we have a series.
Before we get into the draft, I would like to remind everyone the MSC 2025 pass is still available. While it's still available, make sure you guys grab it quick. That's 20% off for the entire period. Purchase now to get the new Nolan Archon of Knowledge and Skin. And make sure you guys complete the task to get all the coins. But now we're going to jump back into the draft. What are your thoughts here, Destroyer?
I got a lot of thoughts about it. First of all, when we saw the first phase of the draft and I expected Kimmy on the right side for the ONIC Philippines, I see, okay, they skip it. Then I noticed that they just don't want to pick Loy, and I was, why? Tell me any reason. Why do you skip? And after that, on the last phase, they take Kimmy. And that was my second question. Why do you do it now? You could you could cook something before the second draft phase.
This is the beauty of a best of 5. No matter how many mistakes you make for the first or second game, there's time for you to recuperate. There's time for you to get back. There's time for you to get stronger. And yes, I believe this is something that we discussed during the draft in the previous game where Super Friends could have waited to Red 5 to make a choice. But like you said, they chose early as 4. And because of that, SRG.OG has a rough idea how to deal with that composition. What are your thoughts, Leo?
SRG.OG, they understand the assignment. Like, they read into game 1 draft so well. And now in red, this is a good gut check. This is a good way to see what they learned about ONIC PH in game 1 after that 4-game series against Team Spirit. And against RRQ, they went back and forth. Red, blue, red, blue, red, blue.
Yep.
I want to see how ONIC PH adjusts. It's really on them now.
Yep, welcome back, folks. This is the second draft of the series. ONIC Philippines will be first pick, SRG.OG second pick. Right now, ONIC Philippines are already looking at two mid laners, betting out the Jushin as well as the Kimi. SRG.OG betting out that Yisun Shin as well as the 1-1.
And the last one, they should make Selena. Definitely. I'm pretty sure that they will choose
Or
this.
SRG could take it.
Oh, potentially, but ONIC Philippines then, you know, can insta-lock. And there won't be any other opportunity for the SRG.OG to pick it. And from the left side, I think that Kalia is one of the options.
Yeah, honestly, SRG, Kalia, Selena is one of their power picks as well. So it's definitely something that ONIC Philippines has to consider. They're batting out this Phovius.
Somebody's setting up for Arlet.
Yeah, and we know how Destroyer feels about the
I can
Arlet.
see. I can hear it. The gears are grinding.
It's like, Coach Arlet. And then Destroyer's like,
No, please, don't do it, bro. So, the last ban for SRG.OG, and that's the question. What do they want? They want to exchange, or they want to let... Okay, we ban Selena, and we let the opponents to pick something like Granger. Because the Granger, for now, between two teams, it's 100% win rate during the knockout stage.
Nope, not gonna happen. I would have rather done this, because what if SRG banned the Kalia, give ONIC PH the Selena? It's easier to read. Now ONIC PH can go, all right, do we go Kalia now and give the box shot to the other side?
looks like they first picked that Lancelot.
Rather not. So SRG, do you go box Kalia?
Hey, maybe this is ONIC Philippines saying we cannot lose tempo. You know what, King Kong? Get off that utility. We need you on Assassins.
And what do you think if they take the Kalia and Granger? The other side. So, let back shot. Okay, they already took Lancelot and jungle.
Looks like they're going for a CC as well as a Kalia.
Even ONIC PH has to think twice about the Baxia now.
Yeah.
Because it's
Honestly, I'm not
free.
liking the Baxia.
Yeah, no, it's not as free. So they do get the Granger.
That's the thing that I don't like, actually. Why you let them Granger? It's, again, Kelra, Granger, 100% win rate. He got a lot of games here, you know, and it helps them to save the limits. Because Kelra can work from the backside, and at the same time, Lancelot with the Badang will engage on the back line of the opponents, and there is the cross line that you can't.
Gentlemen, I think SRG has just come to the point of, yeah, Kelra's gonna pick a hero either way. He's gonna play like Kelra anyways. Just give him something. We'll work around it.
So now SRG.OG, 15 seconds left. Did they pick a jungler here or a gold laner? The joy is still up. If it's not picked up, it probably will get banned soon. Looks like they're gonna pick up the Moskov here, so making sure that they are able to win at least macro-wise. So this is gonna be a Moskov against Granger matchup. SRG.OG still has not picked a jungler. Highly likely will get banned out later.
And then likely as well, Coach Vecchi and Arcadia are gonna ban out mid laners to try and choke down on Super Frames, while ONIC should take out junglers.
At least the joy.
Yeah, at least the Joy and maybe even the Haya.
You know, the funny fact that Instant got 4 games with the Moscow and 0% win rate. At the same time, we see the raid boss, the boss of the gym, Kelra, with the Granger. And I got a lot of questions for SRG.OG with this draft. But maybe they're gonna surprise us. So, and this is Farsha, instant ban.
Yep, again, attack Friends. I don't blame ONIC PH for not picking Friends in the first phase, but they gotta have something up their sleeve, because SRG are gonna pick the Stormy hero in Red 4. Like, that's gotta be it.
Yep. So now ONIC Philippines, we are thinking that they're going for a jungle ban. But what if they just like, you know what, let's see how big of a hero pool both our mid laners have. Imagine if they go loco and just ban mid laners as well. 4
mid laner bans and then even give the Red 4 ban to SRG.
Just to see, yo, Stormy, Super Friends, like how deep can you go?
Yep. Pop quiz.
Pop quiz. We'll see the Nana coming in from Stormy.
This is the Predator ban, and
I miss Sicilian.
If we are speaking about the mid laner bans, ONIC Philippines potentially can remove Loi. That's the option, because there is too much opportunity for macro games for SRG. You got Moscow for split pushing, you got Loi for instant removing from one side to another side, and I think they should think about it.
heroes like Chip are coming to consideration now if ONIC really is so desperate for map control and macro rotations. One more ban for SRG here. Close it up. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is a Luyi, or if they do open it up, Stormy might pull doubles.
Yep, they ban out the Novaria, and this is good because the similarities between the Farsa and Novaria, they move very fast to the side lanes.
But one is more utility, the other is more burst, and this is the same Novaria that felled Team Spirit last night. So SRG did their homework here.
And one more point. Navaria, yes, I wanted to say that Navaria counters Luyi actually also with Astral Echo. You can check the bushes. It also opens you the resources to engage the jungle.
So now how deep do they go? It's not 4 mages, man, but it's still 3. And SRG, what is going to be their mage pick here?
So there's very little reason to Valentina. Maybe Eve.
Hey, Zetian, who knows?
Zetian, wow, Zetian has dropped in priority recently.
And what do you think if we take, I mean, from the SRG.OG side, right now, let's go jungle. And last pick, mid lane.
Oh, they pick up the Kagura.
This has been forecasted.
A way to open up the map, able to cleanse yourself in case anything bad happens.
And alluded to multiple times on broadcast and off. Interesting pick here by Stormy. What does Prince pick? What's left for the Monster Mage?
Valentina.
What do you get with the Valentina?
Get the
Tsunami Slam?
Yeah, probably. Got the Tsunami Slam, but now they picked it up. They pick up the Valentina. And now for their EXP laner.
Oh, you know, Curtain Call, and you got actually got a catcher. This combination. You just steal the combination from the opponent.
Yep, interesting play. Valen can even take the current call and they use the same combination. So this should be a joy unless you want to get frisky and pick up a Hayabusa here.
Gentlemen, I like the optimism, right? But I'm not a big fan of the 1-2 step. I'm not a fan of, oh yeah, we have the combo at home. It's very cobbled together. SRG now, what does Sekai's pick here, the Sky Prince? Can he?
Hayabusa.
Yes, but also I think there's room for him to play utility.
The only question is, the only utility here is Akai.
And Baxia.
And Baxia, yes. We have that one too. 5 seconds left. And it does look like they're going for utility here. They're going for the Baxia. First, for me, I still prefer Assassins, but what do you think, Destroyer?
I'm gonna say that ONIC Philippines should win. I like their composition.
What about you, Leo?
I'm skittish about the whole, we have the combo at home, so I'm going to play it conservative and say that SRG, there was room for them to pick that utility jungle.
Yep, and now we're gonna throw it over to our casters, Brigida and Mirko. Hope you guys are ready because we're throwing over to you guys the second game of this match.
Thank you so much to our panelists, and I hope all the viewers are ready for game number 2 as well. They've had plenty of time to reset and regroup about what happened in the last game. And so I feel even in the draft, we're seeing the changes come in early on. Welcome to game number 2. And this time around, I feel like my biggest question would be, again, regarding damage. Because where do we see a lot more damage coming in terms of the early game from these two? Oh, wait.
Stormy just waited there. That's some crazy patience, man. To just sit there while you're getting... He's got to be careful. He doesn't have regen, too. But yeah, back to your question. Hold up. They're just brawling it out in the mid lane.
Yep. It seems like they're trying to show us who does have the better damage in terms of the mid 2v2s so far. But I feel like the exchange is just going well for both sides. Like, they have decent amount of regen, ways to just get the shields coming in, especially from Stormy and Super Friends as well, Brusco. So there probably won't be that much kills coming in just yet, not unless the junglers go in for the fast rotations, and that's going to be primarily through King Kong first. But SRG are going to respect that well enough and going to keep themselves safe. Moving on to the side lanes as well, I think we've seen these matchups come in multiple times. I guess the most surprising one would be that the Badang does come in a bit more often in the XP lane again. I think even Kid Bomba yesterday did use it in the XP lane. Even though we thought that it was a pick that is more prioritized in the roam position right now.
I'd say it's a pretty good matchup against a CC. Again, you want to counter CC, you do it with crowd control, the other form of CC. And it has been working out, I'd say, in the group stage especially. Not too much in the knockout stage. Yeah, Bamba wasn't able to get a win on the Badang against the CC when he was up against Kirk. But let's take a look at the emblems here. Tenacity, firmness, a whole lot of tankiness for Brusco. It's actually the Bargain Hunter and Inspire for Prince. So trying to get online ASAP. It really looks like ONIC now with King Kong and an Assassin leaning towards that snowball. Skies, Shield Unity able to go onto Super Prince. Now he's getting the full CC over to him, forcing the Purify out, but he has a dash and the Purify. Again, Prio to SRG for Turtle 1.
This is somewhat similar to the entire Super Prince on the Kimi situation earlier, wherein SRG doesn't feel as hesitant to just go in and pour in all of their resources because there's like literally just Brusco who could potentially stop them, and that's going to be primarily just through the Unbreakable. And if there are other members of ONIC PH who don't get to provide the follow-up, then SRG.OG just can't keep going at it. But what is going to be the plan right now?
Brusco.
King Kong, they're holding the objective.
Chain CC on the CC. Crime going to be taken down there, but the final basic attack by Super Prince is going to be back again for SRG as they get a pick off onto Kirk, who stayed there a bit too long, got caught by the Shield Unity, and Stormy was able to dish out damage. Skies now, in the back line, Super Prince able to go for the dash now, trying to kite away, but gets caught by Skies. Still, turtle battle, King Kong gets it, now punctures away, but Brusco will get Tsunami Slam back. Phantom execution by King Kong, now going to the Stormy, and there's no mana on Stormy. King Kong with one, jumping again with a puncture. Now Yomes able to dash in forward, but Kirk comes into safety to help King Kong as he dashes to safety.
Yep. The moment both of the XP laners were already down for these two teams, it was really who could pull off the better mid trio that mattered the most. But Cram was able to dodge that Fizz Break, Fizz Crack combo. And going back, that was one of the most, I'd say, crucial plays that came in from King Kong so far. Like, he wasn't able to do that much earlier on with the backsha.
Yeah.
But now he literally felt confident enough to battle up against 3 or 4 members, even when he was all by himself and when all his other teammates had to recall.
That's true. It's just very different when you're on a hero that's kind of like just there. Tsunami Slam stolen into the Thorn Rose. Phantom execution dodge away from the puncture from King Kong, but the AOG will lock Yums down, and King Kong should get the kill. Yep, in the air, Yums falls. Thing is though, we've seen the Kagura in the group stage. It was Super Prince who picked it up. I didn't really like it, but here with the Baksha and with the Kalea too, it's honestly pretty solid. Purify used up, SOD landing it and going for the final shot. Skies gets the killing spree, and again it's a win for SRG. And to go back to my point, Brig, I really think, oh my god, they just don't want me. Okay, you know what? All right, there's another kill over. Yin Yang overturn. Prince able to sustain. Now Stormy looking for the final umbrella push over. Gets it down. Stormy with the help of Yums just brawling across the map. And you know what?
That's your point.
That's my point.
You
Chain CC into the Yin Yang overturn. Oh my god. King Kong wants to go. Phantom execution. Oh! Stormy broke King Kong's ankles.
And this is why we no longer need to explain, because everything just works so well. The Kagura doesn't need to be the one starting things up, or doesn't need to be risking the yin-yang overturns and then potentially just allowing the other members of ONIC PH to escape, because the tanky heroes, the setup here for SRG.OG just make things a lot more easier. Oh, but hold on, Cram!
Chain CC again. Cram has no way to move. Yin Yang overturn, now locking them down. With the Tsunami Slam too! But the AOG comes in and King Kong still able to survive, but Skies finally gets the Poissons to shut him down.
Very unfortunate. King Kong and the rest of ONIC PH. Ooh, Super Prince still trades another kill onto Stormy, who I feel like has been such a huge problem for ONIC PH all this time, but at least even then, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that SRG.OG are the ones who are still able to take this objective. It might, or ONIC PH might just buy enough time for King Kong to make it and still secure this objective for them nonetheless. He's gonna skip taking the purple buff as well, so it does seem like the turtle is indeed the priority right now for ONIC PH. Oh, but the knockup!
Yeah, luckily has a fizz crack. King Kong still on it with a puncture now. Stormy dives into Kirk. It'll be a kill over as Yums able to flicker out to safety. Again, Brusco caught on the umbrella. King Kong with the puncture again. They get the turtle, but they lose Kirk in the process.
And I think this is one of the questions raised by our panel too. Super Prince right now, he's holding the Tortoise Puissance, and it can be useful to some extent, but for the Valentina, you're looking for those more explosive kinds of ultimates to steal away from the team, and I feel like even Stormy, there was a time when he was on the Valentina, stole the I Am Offended multiple times and just did multiple setups for his team, but oh no, King Kong all alone!
That's an execution, dodges away from the Tsunami Slam. Brusco comes in now doing his own slam over to Yums. It'll be a kill over to Brusco. Prince walks up with the Puissance and he stole with the Purify. Innocent lands the SOD, takes it, pins Brusco to the wall. Damage coming down slowly but surely. Brusco taken out by the umbrella of Stormy.
Stormy just held on to that yin-yang overturn, and it was well worth it for SRG.OG as they take the turret and yet another kill. Keller's just focusing on trades for now, taking down tier 1 down bottom. Oh, King Kong still wants to go for Cram again. At least he doesn't get bumped by the back to shield Unity. Could have been different under the turret. Oh!
Finds it and punctures away. The Kirk Fist Crack saves him again from a possible Yums Tsunami Slam. And they're just clean with it.
We were saying this about SRG.OG too. And now it's ONIC PH who's doing this exact approach in terms of playing a game or the game. That's an almost or a 700 gold lead already in the hands of King Kong, and for some reason, like this entire assassin utility matchup between ONIC PH and SRG.OG, it's seemingly always in favor of the team with the assassin matchup, with the more aggressive matchup. And yes, to a certain extent, it has been working for SRG.OG because again, we've been highlighting the entire concept behind the Kagura and all those tanky frontliners, the combinations. But once ONIC PH just gets to find the right footing, then it's a completely different story. Now, will SRG.OG have a way to contest this final turtle of the game?
Oh my god, what a top by Brusco. Found some execution in the back line again. King Kong just diving in. Stormy has a yin and overturn, goes in. Tsunami Slam locks him down with AOG. Walks up, and it is going to be Kelra to clean things around. Now a double for Kelra on the Grangers. Innocent just goes and clears out top lane.
Stormy, he kept that yin-yang overturn right beside him. So regardless of whatever King Kong tried to do, he would find a way to keep himself safe. Oh, but they're now going after Sakai. Oh, the damage from Kelra!
Oh, he's gonna go for more SOD! What? Super Fritz takes the SOD to send it for Kelra! And he gets a double! Fritz gets the kill on Innocent! When have you seen that? A Valentina to take an SOD, and now he purifies out of the Tsunami Slam.
Okay, yes, take it back. Like, Super Prince has a very interesting take on the entire Valentina IMU situation. It does seem like even though he's been a bit more careful in terms of the ultimates that he's been getting when they're actually ahead and this much aggressive, he has a lot more other options. We have to put a huge emphasis on this play by Super Prince there. Even when we thought ONIC PH could no longer reach and finish off the kills, Super Prince was there to do the job. So now it's SRG.OG who will have to play this a bit more defensively. Might I say though, both teams, they've done and they've had a lot of great micro plays. Like the micros in terms of Stormy, in terms of the yin-yang overturns, the positionings, they're very, very much commendable. But ONIC PH now, they have the Lord, and they're definitely going to find a way to capitalize on this.
But also, I think just go for more damage, dude.
Yep.
The team with utility jungle just hasn't really been able to fully control the game. Even with 4 kills on Skies, now 5, it hasn't, well, unfortunately, it is utility jungle, so again, with the kills on him, it doesn't really change anything. Brusco look for a taunt there. Yum's gonna go for the Tsunami Slam onto Brusco, and that card gets a massive fist track in the back of the AOG. Will come through, Yum's gonna be taken low as King Kong jumps in, and Stormy is forced to just play it safe. SOD clears out the minion wave, but there is another in the mid lane and the bottom lane for ONIC Philippines to go and capitalize on. Cram no vengeance, Kelra with the damage again. Yin-Yang overturn popped down, but Kelra throwing out those bullets over the Skies, who's tanking it up really well. And they have another wave to play with.
That was such a play from Kirk. Even when we thought that SRG.OG could have potentially punished Brusco, because he did attempt to go for the Unbreakable, right? He went, he walked under that turret, tried to go for the Unbreakable, didn't land or didn't connect onto anyone, and so SRG found an opening. That was a clear response through the Tsunami Slam coming in from Yums, but since Kirk was able to land that flicker fist break fist crack onto the other members, then SRG.OG just couldn't complete the job. And now there's another set of waves coming in, and it's a completely different situation when King Kong doesn't get caught in by any form of crowd control by SRG.OG and just freely lands those punctures.
Okay, so in the end, it is still just a non-stop siege. Kelra walks up again, has a Purify, gets out of Tsunami Slam, almost a perfect Yang overturn to counter it as well. Good pin down, oh my lord, Kelra just walking through, gets pierced down, but he's still able to cut away, even from the last shot there, spacing perfectly. It's a kill over again as Brusco gets the AOG out of there. Cram falls to King Kong. And after all that, you'd expect more bodies. King with a dive on Skies. It's a double for King Kong.
The sidesteps from Kelra, the timings from King Kong, the KK connection, they're just making it happen. And oh, Innocent so low!
SOD again by Super Friends. Yum's chunked down. One last shot to find the kill. Friends gets it. It's a killing spree for him as King Kong dives in with the puncture. 3 base turrets down. And Kelra has dealt with the waves. Friends again, they're going to be caught by the sun. Super Friends still able to go for it. Terrifies. Innocent walks up and gets the kill, but gets traded back by Kelra. King Kong in the back gets a kill before ultimately ending the game to get us to an equalizer. 1-1.
That was another Spear of Misery IMU done right there by Super Prince, creating so much space here for ONIC PH. And we just mentioned this entire thing about the KK connection. Kelra and King Kong now being online, finally online. The sidesteps and just making it very difficult overall for SRG.OG to land all their skills, despite the presence or despite the multiple ways that they could actually make use of their AoE. There were the tidal strikes that could come in from Yums, there were the yin-yang overturns, and we couldn't even see Cram land a curtain call that was efficient enough to punish ONIC PH and those members who decided or just wanted to keep going in, because even though you wanted to use the curtain call onto these targets, they just have... King Kong has iframes, Brusco can just find a way to AOG himself out of it, and he doesn't necessarily have to be beside Kirk all the time, because we've seen it multiple times. They tend to go for individual plays as well. So there were just so many things that came or fell into place for that game. Let's hear what our panelists have to say as they break down game number 2.
Thank you very much, Mirko and Brigida. And I don't know, maybe it's the inner Malaysian in me and the inner Indonesian in Mirko, but I don't like utility junglers, man. Like, Vaxia is strong, sure, but give me those assassins. I kind of feel like these are such impressive junglers in King Kong and Skies that even though the Vaxia got like 5 kills and 2 assists, it doesn't really translate into a lot of pressure on the map.
It's hard to have this conversation without bringing in the prime example of a player that doesn't care about junglers that are either assassin or utility, Carl Teasy. He excels on both. So that's why when SRG here picked that last pick Vaxia, even I saw it coming, but why, right? Why? This is a total polar opposite of what happened in game 1, and this just brings up a new win condition for ONIC. There's something that we did not put in those original keys to victory, and that is enable King Kong. King Kong needed this Lancelot.
Definitely, and that's why you should ban versus ONIC Philippines the Lancelot. But I also want to mention again, like the 5th time for today, guys, Granger again, the Granger, and here we go. So Innocent, still 0% win rate for Moscow. They need time, but ONIC Philippines won't give you the time. And to just burst the opponent, you need like the composition. Yeah, you got Kalea, but with whom? Only with the Umbrella, that's all.
It's so easy to blame the Granger and say Innocent kind of sucks right now in the Moscow, but this only happened because of the sheer creativity. And again, I hate to say it, this is my fault. I forgot that Super Prince is a maestro on the Valentina.
Yeah.
In 2024, the M6 World Championships, in the Grand Finals nonetheless, he played a Valentina and stole away, guess what? An energy eruption. It's that weird third skill on the Fredrin and taunted 3 dudes from Team Liquid ID. Now, if all folks didn't see it, go ahead, scrub back after this bit. He SOD'd. He SOD'd. He stole the Moscow's ult. I've never seen that.
So, Leo Destroyer, I kind of feel like we need to add one more key to victory for both teams, and that's actually getting the first pick. Because right now, being on second pick, you only have one ban, right? You got to ban the Yisun Shin, and then you got to ban out the 1-1. Right? For SRG.OG, they got to think about banning out the Selena. So it's almost like you have no bans when you're on second pick.
It's as if the decisions were made for you already.
Exactly. Because I agree with Destroyer, like ban out Lancelot, etc. But you can only do that if you're first pick.
Yes, you're absolutely right. That's the thinking that I didn't thought about.
It's
That's a good
difficult.
point. It's a good point, actually.
It's difficult for ONIC because ONIC likes being in red. They're one of the few teams that actually help push the 52% going into the knockout win rate for red side. So if that's the case...
But this game, they was on the first pick. And Lancelot insta-lock. After that, the SRG.OG led them Granger. And here is the composition already. Also, the Valentina was a perfect pick. I don't. Yeah, you just remembered that it was okay for the mid lane priority. But still, I think that the composition overall for the ONIC Philippines was much better here.
Yeah, I kind of feel like let's look back at some patterns here in terms of losing the matchup, because both teams that chose their EXP laner early looks like they get punished just a little bit. And this is
early meaning a CC.
Exactly. Now here's the thing. I think even if you change up the CC and pick something else, it might even yield the same results, because this is one of the I would say rules of drafting for a few years now. A lane that could get punished will get punished if you picked up early, and one of those lanes right now is the EXP.
So not only do we have the first ban set, we also have the order of drafts already set. You're saying ban 1, 2, 3 in blue to allow for something to be open and keep your XP laner and mid laner for the second phase. Like that seems to be law here. That is the mandate in the Battle of Gods and Giants.
No, of course you've got other options, but as we can see, it doesn't work at all. So the priority should be for gold lane, mid lane, and for the roam. Oh, okay, jungle, never forget about jungle. But not XP lane, mid lane, okay, you can postpone it just a bit later. If it's not Selena, one of the rules.
I feel like this is the thing when we're jumping into our top 4 semifinals, because every team here are essentially friends. They know each other so well to the point where I kind of feel like for both of them, it's almost expected, the kind of draft that they'll be having. So this is a different layer for the coaches, is that how do you deceive your opponents? Because here's the thing, even if you have a pocket pick, most likely your opponents know about it.
And this Kagura was no secret.
It was no secret, yeah.
Among scrims, I think some teams have already employed the Kagura. So the victory doesn't come from cheese. You can't win via cheese. I think that's the understanding here. So you just have to win via good fundamental drafting.
You know, if we speak about the pocket picks, it's something like Aurora showed us. The Atlas, just... Who could predict it?
Way out of left field.
Yeah. So
Gusion.
And Valeric maybe, like we discussed a lot, Team Spirit potentially could show us, but they didn't. Still, like something like that, something super unpredictable, like that can be a pocket pick. Kagura, no.
Yeah, but now we're going to look at the reactions from the crowd, because that was an amazing game. Because right now, from a best of 5, we basically defaulted into now becoming a best of 3. And I love that we're here in Riyadh, and there's so many people cheering for both SRG.OG, ONIC Philippines. Again, a big shout out to the fans here, because you guys give the energy for the players on stage to give their very best. And yeah, I kind of feel like when we're talking about the best teams in the world, we have to talk about what happens even before the match even starts. That's how intense this game is. Even in the draft, you make one mistake, it changes everything.
It's a game of margins. And whoever makes the most punishable mistake, best believe your opponent will jump on that and drill you into the ground for that. Because that's what we saw in Game 1. Game 1, ONIC PH looked like nothing. Game 2, SRG.OG committed the same mistake. And if anything, they lasted just maybe 2 minutes less, 3 minutes less. It was a much faster game.
Oh, you know what it reminds me? Yesterday games of ONIC Philippines, actually. The first game, they lost like easily. The second game, they exchanged, okay, we're gonna win you. The Team Spirit, I'm speaking about the match ONIC Philippines versus Team Spirit. And right now happening the same. So the crucial moment now for SRG.OG, if they can win or not.
So it's kind of like win condition. ONIC Philippines lose game 1 and then proceeds to win everything else later
Yes.
on. Again, like you said, this is a battle of margins. And I feel like for both teams, this is weighing very heavily here because let's just set the stakes here. Winning this one, going to the grand finals, is not just an opportunity to become champions, but winning this basically seals you for at least $500,000 US. So there's a lot on the line here. Minimum. If you're second place, that's the minimum you're gonna get.
You can double down then, actually, if you win, of course. And by the way, if we speak about SRG.OG again, or about ONIC Philippines, they will be the champions if SRG.OG wins the twice champions of MSC. And if we speak about ONIC Philippines, they will be the champions of the M Series and MSC Series.
Either way, it looks like for all of you guys here watching at home or in the stadium, we're gonna be here for a very long day because yesterday we got 9 out of 10 games. Today we might see 10 out of 10 games. We're about to jump into the draft very, very soon. And I gotta say, for the players performing on stage, a lot is on their shoulders. And I only ask for one thing. Assassins, man. I actually can argue for Frederick. I kind of feel like Frederick works very, very well. But other than that,
Fredrin is the outlier.
because, dude, his kid is amazing. Buff, nerf the guy no matter what you do. He always has a role in the meta.
Just takes control of those turtle pits, lord pits. Can even have odd bursts of damage from out of nowhere. So yeah, I agree. Which makes you again question. Game 1, Hayabusa was open. Game 2, Hayabusa was open too. So there's definitely some conversations that we're not privy to. There's some things in the draft that we don't see that the coaches and the players can, that led us to this point.
You know the interesting thing that Baksha appeared right after the Kimi started to dominate mid lane, and it's like the counter pick. Everybody start pushing this to the meta, and right now what I see, the Baksha, you know, the teams know how to counter it. The Kimi, you need some time, so maybe let's just skip it and prioritize something like an Assassins.
Yeah, no, I think fundamentally these teams have so much to talk about. I'd like to elaborate in just a bit.
Yeah, and for you guys at home, the All-Star is still here all the way to the 5th of August. Join the limited time Dino patch in MLBB and secure yourself a free Popolin Koopa Proto Hunter skin. Leo, you were saying?
Damage profile, in addition to range, and these roles being high priorities in the early phases and in the bans. Game 1, ONIC had no burst. Game 2, guess who didn't have burst, fam? At least reliable burst. SRG.OG. Kagura sure has some level of burst, especially if he gets a power spike in the early game, but that's a skill shot, and ONIC were super mobile.
And look at this, we're already starting to draft here. SRG.OG is going to be first pick, allowing them more free bans, betting out the Selena, Fanny, as well as the Lancelot. ONIC Philippines, this is the bad thing about second pick. You don't have a lot of flexibility in the bans. You got to ban out that 1-1 as well as the Yi Sun Shin. And now the final ban is actually going to be that Hayabusa. We were talking about it. And game 3, we're not going to be seeing it.
Fredrin and Joy are now suddenly high demand commodities.
It's almost like we're back 6 months ago.
And I was just about to fall in love with this meta. I was loving it. We were going well, like we were having conversations every night.
And you know, if we speak about the bans, yeah, and Hayabusa disappears from this game, but I got a question. Why not Kalea? I mean, like the first pick for SRG.OG, they definitely gonna pick it right now. And we didn't see Hayabusa for 2 games in a row. What changed?
Honestly, I kind of feel like they're asking SRG.OG that question. If you don't pick up the Kalia, we will definitely pick it up. And you were talking about the Granger. This is a good chance to let SRG pick up the Kalia so that ONIC Philippines, they can get the Granger. And there you go. And the Joy. So they instantly pick up their win conditions, not thinking long and hard. These are 2 amazing picks right now. Pick it up quick. And now, in terms of Assassins, what's left?
KK Connection is back. Assassin-wise, are you gonna force Sekai's on the Ling?
That's really late. That's the only thing. That's really. I feel like the only way they can pick it up is that if ONIC Philippines they pick up something like a Kimi, like maybe. But then I don't know. Very difficult.
Fredrin still viable.
That's not an assassin, man.
Yes, you want assassins, I know, but Fredrin here, additional crowd control, additional damage, you can follow, and I think you should prioritize for yourself Gold and Fredrin. I don't know who. Okay, it's also a good choice.
Yeah, but the thing is, this Farsa is not super free now, is it? Going up against the Joy.
Yep.
This is the natural predator for the Hottie Birdie, right? Like, the Joy just smokes the Farsa.
Not to mention CC and Lapu-Lapu are still at large. ONIC PH could pick one of them and then ban the other come the second phase. And then what does Cram pick then?
But then you got no crowd control actually for ONIC Philippines if you take Lapu-Lapu. If you take, okay, you got one stun, that's all.
They don't care.
They don't care. Okay. They'll just go on Farsha.
I mean, like, a good crowd control is denying your opponent of the ult, so
yeah,
it's kind of amazing.
Or just putting them to sleep.
Yeah.
Just take them out of the map. ONIC PH, a good direction for them, in my opinion, would be to just take out Arlet and Phovius.
Yeah.
That's it. Or Arlet and CC. Deny the Arlet Fredrin combo.
Either ways, right now for ONIC Philippines, I think it's not a hot take to say that they got a lot in this round. And you were talking about this, Leo, where ONIC Philippines, they like being on red side. They like being on second pick. It looks like they're manipulating it well by understanding the Kalia is a hot pick for SRG.OG, and they punished that.
I think actually the last pick for ONIC Philippines should be CC. That's from my perspective, because otherwise it can be a good combination.
But they already have the Lapu.
Did you mean SRG?
I mean ONIC Philippines should ban.
Oh, should ban
Right.
CC, yeah.
Yes. So that's the option. If we're speaking about SRG, let's go for the mid lane. That's the option. Valentina, what can we also...
Valentina Loyi?
Valentina Loyi, yes, good bans.
Yeah, looks like they're going for the Luyi first ban here. Are they going for Innocent again? Because I kind of feel like with this Kalia, we should be thinking about a possible Beatrix.
Beatrix or Iritel.
Yeah.
Those are still solid picks left out there. I don't know if you want to Harry.
Beatrix better, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to Harry. That's way too much magic damage. You're going all in. A single Athena shield and poof.
Also Beatrix, you can combine it with the Fredrin, Taunt, you can combine it with the Kalia. So engage and then the nuke damage instantly from your mage and from your... Okay, it's the Harif ban even.
Yeah, still respecting the Harif because the Harif has a favorable matchup going up against the Joy. So again, probably they're readjusting their priorities, making sure that King Kong has a good game.
So they'll allow the Irithel.
Maybe Kara is just saying, like, do you really think he can counter me? Sometimes to be champions, you need that kind of mindset, you know?
If we're speaking about the gold lane, you actually counter the hero, but you don't counter the player. So you can still play from the back line, you can still be safe. Yeah, you're losing some gold XP, but you're coming back. And Iritel needs some time. Yes, Farsha gives you that time. Fredrin can give you that time. But still, we remember what happened with Kelra versus Joy.
Honestly, good ban here, banning out the Jushin, making it so that ONIC Philippines, they can get that tempo. Because I kind of feel like this is ONIC Philippines style. By controlling the game the first 3 minutes and then expand, don't stop.
Yeah, and again, that Zushin definitely answers the lack of CC. We were saying ONIC PH does not have reliable crowd control. The CC provides that in spades. You spend 2 seconds too long underneath her beacons and suddenly you're knee-deep in ONIC PH's lineup. What are they picking red for? Again, still no mid laner and still no jungler, still no roamer for the super fam.
Let's go, Badang. What do you think about it?
Yeah, Badang is good.
Badang or Cho.
Yeah.
Or Gatot. Gatot's good too,
Yeah,
especially
Gatot's
against the
good,
Farsa.
Yep, and there you go. You pick up the Gatot here. So, ONIC Philippines, it does look like they already have a lot of answers for the problems that SRG.OG has.
And 2 picks for SRG.OG. So the priority for the gold lane, that's the most thing that interesting me. I would prefer to see the Beatrix, actually. I like the composition. I like it with Farsha, I like it with Kalea, I like it with Fredrin. And for the explain, I would like to prefer CC still. I like this pick.
Yep, still a lot available. Even the glue is available if SRG.OG wants to go that route, because that does seem like one of Cram's comfort as well. Still a lot of picks for SRG.OG, especially on the EXP.
Scary if you glue though, because the Faramis is still open.
That's true. So they pick up the CC instead. So will this be the Beatrix or the Irithel? It looks like they go for a Bruno. Not in my bingo books for this one.
Yeah, no, because the Beatrix was way too spelled out. So was the Irithel, because again, SRG knows that the Irithel just suddenly dies to the Granger and the Joy. So they go Bruno. It's a almost forgotten hero.
It's most, you know, it's more safe pick, but I don't like it. I understand that on lane it's harder for you to play as Beatrix, yes, but overall, if you go to the mid lane, it's much more profitable.
I like that both teams, they're kind of like saying each other, let's play tempo. Let's see who has their foot on the gas first and who can accelerate without the brakes. So now, ONIC Philippines, final pick here for their mid laner. A lot is still open. It looks like they're gonna pick up the Eve instead. So a lot of zoning here by both mid laners.
So far, 100% win rate on the Eve for the black and yellow. ONIC has also found success in this by putting it in the hands of San. So, you know what? ONIC PH, they got momentum. I like it. They got a kill box going for them.
I would like to say that I also like the ONIC PH draft more than SRG.OG. Sorry, Bruno, I don't like you.
Thank you very much for our analyst for the breakdown of the draft. And right now, for game number 3, we're going to throw it over to Brigida and Mirko.
Thank you so much. A bit of opinions here and there in terms of which they prefer and not, but now only these two teams can get to decide which works best. They've equalized the series, and we're heading into a best of 3 to finally find out who's coming out of this. Welcome to game number 3 between ONIC PH and SRG.OG Esports. That was a very fun draft to watch.
It was really fun, just, you know, predicting the drafts as well, because it really just came down to what you know of these players, right? Like, what are their comfort picks? ONIC Philippines responded to the heavy assassin ban by banning out their own assassins, setting up for the Joy. It was amazing to watch the draft, and now we get to see a battle for match point. Whoever wins here, ladies and gentlemen, will be able to secure match point. A bit of safety in the single elimination bracket.
Yep. And they also bring back the Bruno, who again, in terms of like history and what we know of SRG, was also there during that time. And the Bruno was just popping off, especially back in M6, but you could say the same for ONIC PH, and they were even the first ones to bring out one of the most unorthodox ways to answer back against the Bruno, which was, if you guys would recall, the Layla, even back in M6, but now they're playing up against it again in this kind of situation where SRG.OG are forced to bring out the utility junglers again, but this time around, with the Farsa in the mid lane, we could potentially be expecting them to play this a bit more better. There could be a lot more space created since they have a bit more of burst damage coming in for the early stages of the game. But looking at the emblems, yep, it seems pretty standard for majority of the heroes here, but wait.
That's good info. King Kong going to be able to go for the dive here. Stormy still saving the flicker, and Kong doesn't get the electrifying beat. Sky's walking up now over to Prince. We'll get the poke down, and yeah, nothing too crazy in the emblems. It does seem like for ONIC Philippines, they got what they wanted for, right? Like what they went for, sorry. Hayabusa ban, they really wanted the Joy. But even though we've been saying no utility, the Friction is a great counter to the Joy.
Yeah, just a well-timed energy eruption. It's gonna make a huge difference for the team fight. Oh, but there's the Unbreakable and the Brave Spider.
Pulled out the Brave Spider, still Sky's been in the retreat battle. Ow! Oh, Fraser's Rat getting the big pop over the curtain call, locking him down. Yum's still staying alive somehow as Kirk tries his best to deal damage. Now the feathered airstrike with a flicker too doesn't actually land. That additional movement speed for the Purify, helping Prince to get out.
Oh my goodness, that timings. Brusco, I'm surprised he survived for that long in that entire fight where he was just up front in the faces of the members of SRG.OG, and just that constant enhanced basic attack kept him alive even though he should have died way back. And even that Bravest Fighter from Kirk and Super Friends in that positioning with the real world manipulation, just making sure everyone was right at the edge. So it's probably also why it took a bit more time from SRG.OG to reach Super Friends to make things a bit more difficult for him. And mind you, that Purify might come in a lot more sooner because he is once again on the pull yourself together. So that's how Super Friends potentially is planning to keep himself safe. Again and again, he can just rely on the Purify either to get out, to keep the stuns out from Stormy, from Yums, and that's one of the biggest answers again to the entire idea that SRG.OG has in terms of their lineup.
Yeah, it's again, they have a ton of damage. Despite the utility jungle, we've gone through this already. They already have a CC. They have a Farsa and a Bruno too here. I think it would have been a bit too risky for them to go for the Beatrix, even though, yeah, we were talking about the Beatrix possibility too, the instant burst down that we saw up against RRQ by SRG yesterday when the Kalea went for any Tsunami Slam, really, on anyone. Right now, ONIC Philippines really need to get space for King Kong. That's what they need to do in the neutral objective battles, right? Because we saw earlier when King Kong had to just brute force his way into the fight, he gets chain CC'd way too easily by the Fredrin, CC, Kalea, even the Farsa.
And that's probably the idea too why ONIC PH decided to go for this draft, because in terms of team fights, that's a lot of space you can create with the AOG, with the real world manipulation, and of course just the bravest fighter being casted every now and then by Kirk. Oh, but Super Prince, they find a way to access him.
Yeah, great damage now onto Brusco too. Pop Revitalize already. And it's not actually going to help Super Prince to get back to full.
No.
Yeah, they have to concede this one. That's free for Selangor Red Giants OG Esports. And hey, with that setup, there was absolutely no way ONIC Philippines could brute force the Turtle without losing members.
So that could be the best way to go for SRG.OG. That was a perfect call prior an objective to heavily poke a member who is a crucial part in how the team fights are going to unfold. And they went for Super Friends. So they had to rely on a potential team fight without the real world manipulation if it went down to it. And so now, ONIC PH clearly in the back foot there, Luwan's reacting to how SRG.OG is being more decisive in terms of the rotation than Kellera can't even do much. They will have to let go of that turret.
Beautifully done by SRG. Oh, King Kong gets away. Luckily for King, there was no one there to really stop him from dashing with the current call. But yeah, Selangor Red Giants, especially with the Bruno, you really want to play the strong side over for Bruno. So the fact that they got 2 turtles, plus they were able to rotate down below, ending the laning phase ASAP, means that Kellera really can't abuse the Granger laning phase anymore.
Yeah.
Puts Bruno, Innocent, in a very good spot.
We've been talking about space, but ONIC PH, hopefully that space doesn't get limited to the team fights, because when they get shut down, then things are not looking too good for them anymore. SRG.OG, clearly with the utility jungler, are making it work, unlike the first 2 games we've seen so far in this series. This is how you literally capitalize on the idea of a utility jungler, because you have a strong lane in the gold lane, you have a mid laner who could definitely help you in terms of creating that space, and better yet, even supplying the damage, which is why ONIC PH feel a bit more hesitant in terms of going in, because Stormy and Yums, their combo's just too good. And now they're gonna go after King Kong. Ooh, energy eruption!
The timing on the F5 beats, flicker over. King Kong can take it low, still able to escape. Leaf Ignition proc gets him down. A big bonk over to the minion wave. Actually, that was just 1 minion. Rest in peace, minion.
That was, I think, 2? Or maybe, yeah, that they could leave the lane alone already, but now Purify already used by Super Prince still gets caught though!
Yeah, an early Purify from Prince gives Yums easy access to get Tsunami Slamming. That was uncharacteristic for sure. Selangor Red Giants, they're capitalizing on every small mistake that ONIC Philippines make on the map, and now it's a free turret in the mid lane.
This doesn't feel too calm and collected. Wait, Kurt goes in alone?
Yeah, chain CC it again. Kurt call, oh my lord, so much damage! Even with the Revitalize, they go through it all, and Innocent is just balling his way to 2 kills for free for SRG.
You get it, right? There's Brusco, who is also coming in, so that's probably why he was a bit encouraged. Oh, but wait! Close call. Close call for King Kong, but he still gets to escape. And yeah, you would have thought that Kirk went in alone, but it wasn't entirely the case. There was Brusco too, but was it still the right decision to go in knowing that it was just the 2 of them? Because there wasn't any damage, and SRG had plenty of damage. I mean, look at this 2K gold lead.
Yeah.
Already in the hands of Innocent on the Bruno. So whoever Yums decides to go for, and that setup earlier onto Super Prince was just a bit too free, you know, but whoever he decides to go for from this point onwards, you could expect the damage to come through from Innocent, to come through from Stormy.
It's just too tough right now for ONIC Philippines, like Selangor Red Giants. 3 kills on Stormy. That's the only possible bounty that they can get. Again, he can just play far back. He has a flicker too, and mainly I think what makes them, the backline, so safe is the amazing front line that they didn't actually have in game number 2, right? Like game number 2, yes, they had Skies on a Baksha, but ONIC Philippines just got online so early. Now that SRG got 3 turtles, even just with that, without the gold lead, they should be in a proper spot to actually hold down ONIC Philippines' damage. But with the 6,000 gold lead, ONIC Philippines might have to just wait for, what, 15, 16 minutes of game time before they can actually shred down Skies.
There's no threat of burst damage just yet from ONIC BH. They're, as you said, literally waiting. And now you see SRG.OG. They just bounced back in this series. They're showing us a performance that's not too far from what we've seen in the previous year when they took the championship in MSC 2024 for themselves. Now they're doing this to the reigning world champions. And if they're able to actually get match point, that puts them one step closer to getting a shot at defending that title. Now ONIC BH clearly have to find a way to work around this. That's a 4K goal lead, and Super Prince fortunate enough to work on that sidestep, but now he doesn't have the Purify.
No, he does not. Holy Shield in the mid lane, they be popped open again, and there's just no damage, not even to Cram, who isn't the main frontliner. Man's able to sustain. Prince is a level down on Stormy. The only advantage, if you can even call it that they got was, all right, Stormy used Flick, so a bit more vulnerable. But even then, he doesn't really need Flick. He's been able to utilize it to go and dive. That's a free turret down below. Innocent picking it up now. RWM and the Bravest Fighter as well. Kurt melts it down. King Kong on the back line with the AOG as well. Won't land. It's only onto Innocent, who's still able to dish out damage for free. Brusco falling. Innocent gets a double kill. 1 off from a hat trick.
The closest and probably the best target for King Kong in that situation was Stormy, because you said it there. What?
There's the hat trick, and they're gonna go for the end. 10 minutes in, ONIC Philippines have no way to react. They will be forced back in their base. Hey, MSC 2024, they did it. MSC 2025. At this point, Riyadh looks a whole lot like Selangor.
They gave no time to us, to ONIC, to regroup, to reset. And they just went after it after that one miscalculated play coming in from ONIC BH. And as we've mentioned, they could have gotten a kill. They could have punished the lack of flickers that Stormy clearly did not have in that moment, but he just flew on top of that stone that was right there. And no one was able to get access to Stormy, and no one died from SRG.OG, so it was just so easy for them, especially considering that Innocent was untouched. He was clearly untouched in this game and in that particular team fight, so whenever you look back at what happened in that game, this is the definition of how you make a utility jungler work, of how you make the entire idea of this lineup work. And this was the final clash. Now, I feel like the panel has a lot more to say in terms of what happened in this fight, so let's head back over to our panel.
And this is why, in my eyes, I don't like utility junglers unless they're Fredrin, all right? He's the face of utility junglers. He's the daddy in the jungle, man. Like, Fredrin makes it work. And I gotta say, very good performance, and maybe this is how you just gotta win out that battle. If you have utility in your mind, only Fredrin.
Fredrin was so good, but I also want to mention about the Stormy. You know, he made so much pressure all over the map, and he just won mid. He just won mid, and the triple of SRG.OG, they could do everything they want. let's go bottom, let's go top side, okay, let's go take turtle, no problems, nobody gonna disturb us. And that's the thing when you play the second tempo. And okay, I was worried about Bruno, but actually I would like to say that gold lane mean nothing. I mean, they did nothing in that game. Not like I'm trying to underestimate their efforts, but overall, if we speak about the game, the trio won. The trio won the game.
It's not that it didn't do nothing. Gold was just there to make that advantage that SRG got very early on all the more unsurmountable for ONIC PH. I hate how I talked about these fundamentals, these principles, these must-dos for both teams, and then at the end of the draft for Game 3 say, yeah, I like ONIC PH now, when they were clearly lacking in burst. Yes, there is burst when the Joy does find soft targets, or the Granger if he's able to set up shot after shot after shot on targets that sit still, but SRG did not allow for that. SRG had the better initiation tools even. You mentioned the mid-trio, the Kalia, the Fred, and the Farsa. Those three things can just run around after the second turtle and call shots. This is SRG just fundamentally understanding the assignment, while ONIC kind of strayed away again. Like game 1 and 2 never happened.
So right now, like again, we just got to go back to the law of the draft, at least for this series. Number one, first pick seems to look pretty good. And number two, early picking your EXP laner does make it so that you know how to deal with it. But the other thing is controlling tempo. Who puts their foot on the gas first and refuses to press the brakes looks like has an advantage in this series.
More nuke damage. You know, the more I see the mid laners that need time, if we're speaking about yes, constant damage, but still, it's not like in the early game. Oh my god, what a numbers.
Dude, Cram having the highest damage in that one. I thought it would be either the Bruno or the Farsa. I was like, nah, man, my CC does a lot of damage.
I actually predicted that the Innocent should be, but Cram, again, he showing us how to play CC. Remember, we already mentioned today about 21 KDA when he played versus RQ on CC, and again, he is doing the same.
This is half Cram's effort. Again, amazing athlete, team captain for SRG.OG, but also the hero itself. CC is just so capable of dishing out this much damage. And again, this is a byproduct of the lineup that ONIC PH drafted. They're a lineup that likes to fight for a while under their kill box, under the real world manipulation. If that is what ONIC PH wanted to do, SRG.OG, all they wanted to say was, okay, I guess that means you get to sit under my yo-yos a little longer, and we end up with a 10.5-minute game.
Here you go, folks. MLBB logic. Bring yo-yos to a sword fight. You'll win for some reason. But right now, we're going to give time for both teams to really think about their draft coming into game number 4. Because, again, it looks like the draft is everything. We're going for a short break. After this, we will resume the semifinals. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, SRG.OG is at match point against ONIC Philippines. ONIC Philippines has to win this one to push us all the way to Game 5. Welcome back to the English broadcast. My name is Rafael. Alongside with me is Destroyer as well as Leo. Right now, breaking down for this game. Looks like First Pick does have the superior draft. Leo, what are your thoughts on the series so far?
The fundamentals, the laws, the mandates stand true. This is the nature of the beast, and if you do not check those 2 or 3 things first, the side selection be damned, you're bound to lose a game. And ONIC only have but 1 game, 1 life to rely on. They have to get everything right.
I would like to add one thing. I'm pretty surprised, and I'm glad that I'm surprised about the performance of SRG.OG. I don't know if it's Arcadia or the team itself, but they're performing so well.
It's Riyadh, man. Every single time SRG.OG comes to Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, they just get a buff.
That's the thing. I'm not even surprised anymore. I know that SRG.OG are this strong, but it's the decisions that these teams make along the line down the road of the series that change the way it goes. Because again, it could end here. It could be a 3-1 SRG.OG victory.
And for you guys at home, the Metro Zero train is arriving at the MLBB Battlefield with a stunning new series of skins. Make sure you guys stay tuned because the upcoming Metro Zero cinematic trailer, you guys will find out who will be in that skin line. And now I kind of feel like for us, the main thing is the damage profile here, because I believe, Leo, you were talking a lot about burst, and I think going up against very strong, fast reacting teams, if you burst them before they can react, that's probably the only way you can beat very high mechanical players.
Yeah, bursting down ONIC PH is a good plan and a half, because you're already making them doubt their entry. You're already denying the peel from Brusco and Kirk, and if you do that, you can't even expect KK to do anything. That's what happened in Game 3.
Third game was an example how to make it fast, how to make it real, but not all the time it works. If we're going back to previous games, if we go yesterday, and just remember, team spirit games, sometimes ONIC Philippines, if you make one mistake, even if they're playing with absolute lead of the opponents, they still can come back, they still can make it real.
We'll see if the theory being first pick is going to help you out in the draft. We're about to see, because ONIC Philippines is first pick here, batting out that Jushin, and now SRG.OG. Kind of feel like we can predict this. It's going to be the Yusin Shin, the 1-1, and +1. Maybe it's even the Selena.
Most likely. But maybe they're gonna change everything. And you know, they'll just leave. Okay, go play 1-1. Because yesterday, ONIC Philippines played 1-1 twice, right? And one time, they lost.
Yeah. So right now, the Kimi as well, the Jushin ban out. ONIC Philippines going up against SRG.OG. The players that usually get overshined by someone else, the mid laners, looks like they're very key here in this matchup.
I don't think that was a secret. I think we all knew that the S mages had something to do with their team's success, had everything to do with their team's success. So if you shut them down, if you put them in a weird position, then all the more their team struggles. That's what's happening to ONIC Philippines right now. The Eve was a good pick, but not the best pick, not what they needed at the time, because the Farsa on the other end was taking names, making heads roll. And there's the Kalia, still left open, the Lancelot.
Yep.
That is what ONIC PH did to win Game 2, to get us the deadlock. But SRG.OG, they got one more. What else needs to be taken out here?
You know,
Selena.
Like the same scenario. I already saw it. And actually, it's just repeated. That's the question. What's better, Selena or Lancelot?
I feel like they abandon Selena, ONIC Philippines will pick up the Lancelot, and then SRG.OG, they'll pick up the Godpot and Granger.
That's a good option. That's a good option. Just change not the beginning of the draft, but the draft for yourself. So don't let to play Kelra with Granger. And Lancelot.
Oh, interesting.
They'll open up the Lancelot, allow ONIC to pick the Selena, then SRG just picks a mid laner with Purify.
Or maybe just go back to game number 1 and early pick the Fredrin and then force ONIC Philippines to go Boxia or Joy. I mean, like, again, we'll see, because with the Lancelot ban, a lot of options are open. Even SRG could pick up the Selena for themselves. So I gotta say, game number 4, it could go either way.
I got a question. If ONIC Philippines gonna take Selena for them, why do you need to change something? And let's go Farsha plus Fredrin again, just to repeat. If it works, why not?
They go for an early CC pick here, so I mean, like, to be fair, it hides a lot. You just know the EXP, but this is like one of the laws we're talking about. Don't pick your EXP early.
They said no to the best pick that they've been looking forward to. I think they're, I don't know, if you're down 2-1, I don't know if gut checking your opponent and saying, do you have a Selena right now, is the best thing to do.
So right now we're looking at, without the Kulia, what is going to be the priority here for SRG.OG? There's a lot of priorities. Fredrin and Joy stand out as amazing junglers at this point. Boxia, X-tier hero, sure, but not really looking good for the knockout stage. Granger, the Selena, and right now looks like they have made the decision. They're going for the Gatot as well as the Selena.
That's the gut check, the Farsa.
Yep.
Because I think that's one of the few things left for ONIC Philippines.
Or Luyi.
On early Luyi?
I'm not saying early, because I really feel like they should late pick Super Friends.
Yeah, but
pick 4 and 5, but you know.
It's not going to come through. There's no way it comes through if it doesn't get picked in 2-3.
If you don't pick it right now,
It's going to get banned.
Yes, absolutely. So there is the position when SRG, first of all, they prevent ONIC Philippines to take the composition like CC plus Gatatkacha. They remove Selena from Super Friends, and right now they are in a pretty good spot when they can pick everything they want. So ONIC Philippines, they have got options. Granger, one of the good pick,
pick up Moskov.
and Moscow.
Okay, interesting here. Picking up the Moskov as well as the Fredrin. The Joy doesn't look too hot now against the Moskov, against the CC, against the Fredrin. So the real option here is the Boxia. Already want to get frisky with it and pick up an X-Borg, because I kind of feel like X-Borg still works well against ONIC Philippines.
Yep. You're fine against the CC. You're great against the Fredrin. But it's going to be on Sakai's. Can you make peace with that?
I mean, he did it yesterday and he made it work. So, again,
and
there's
he won,
options.
He won with the utility today already.
Yep. Or, I don't know, pick up the Granger and feel comfortable. But I kind of feel like Innocent, you have the ability of picking any hero and he'll make it work. So
Granger is the best pick, I think. So,
Yep.
but yeah, the Granger. Granger appears here. So it's just safe pick. Let's call it like this, because you understand, if you don't pick it right now, it will be banned.
yeah, so I kind of feel like Luyi should be banned out by SRG.OG, and ONIC Philippines, they should ban out the X-Borg. And then after that, see what else is comfortable.
So ban X-Borg. Ban.
Maybe Boxia, I don't know, because Boxia is already countered here by the CC.
So you allow the Haya Joy?
Oh yeah, maybe ban out the Haya, yeah. Maybe ban out X-Borg Haya.
X-Borg Haya or X-Borg Boxia.
I think from the right side, if we speak about the bans, yeah, we need to concentrate on the mid lane. And Loyi, yeah. You mentioned it, actually.
Yep. Do you also ban the Novaria?
I would.
Yep. Arcadia would.
Oh, they ban out the Ruby. The pick that countered the CC in game number 1, which, honestly, looking at this composition, could counter them as well. But the next one should be an X-Borg, because it's not. It's going over for SRG.OG.
And they have no picks yet to shut it down. Is this the Farsa here for SRG or the Novaria?
Navaria. No, I don't see Navaria. Farsa looks okay. I would like to say even good.
And then they pick the Hayabusa.
The only problem is actually
If the X-Borg gets
Gatatkacha.
banned. Sorry?
I said, like, for the left side, Farsa is okay, but the only problem is Gatatkacha. So, or maybe if you get the marker of the Selena.
Oh, a glue. Looks like they're asking ONIC Philippines, do you want to ban the glue or do you want to ban the X-Borg?
They're telegraphing the glue.
Yep.
I mean, if it is a glue, you change the way you play completely.
But it is one of Cram's signature, even in MPL, MY. Picking that up, he just has a smile on his face, you know? So, not gonna confirm be the pick, but it's definitely one of the options on the table.
Man, Ikram has grown so much in the past year. Stepping up to be team captain, having such a lethal hero pool. ONIC are taking their time with this.
I would
You
still
need
go
to
for
you need to
export.
think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Desmond, as Lafel mentioned, there are two options. You ban Xborg or you remove glue. And yeah, they understand that they need to remove the glue.
So they wouldn't risk it against Ikram, but they will gut check Sekais.
Yep. I mean, like, we'll see, because this is going to be a very big gamble, because I feel like we agree that King Kong needs to have an amazing game for ONIC Philippines to have an amazing game. SRG.OG, they have the opportunity. Maybe they're just going to pick up a very bursty mid lane to make sure that the Xborg doesn't get online, making sure that the Faraga armor is always get taken down.
And that's where heroes like Farsa come in.
Maybe even the Valentina. I can't even see that one happening.
Valentina, yeah, actually, you can steal at least 2 ultimates if they pick Xborg. I mean, SRG.OG. So that's a good option. But do we need to pick right now Xborg?
No, not really. Looks like they pick up the Volvius here. Not a good matchup against the CC, but looks like they just want a heavy front line here. I mean, to be fair, Volvius wins against the CC early game, but once the CC gets the War Axe, then you start struggling.
And maybe they want to prevent like potential Arlot roam.
For ONIC Philippines?
Yes.
Ooh,
It's still
maybe.
a good answer, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
So they hit 2 birds with 1 stone here. Didn't even cross my mind. Good catch,
Yeah.
Destroyer. I think the
I
Arlet...
forgot Arlet exists.
Yeah, because again, it
Because I don't like it.
won 0 times. So ONIC Philippines, so these are the options, right? Farsa. Definitely, I think you need a Farsa. You need burst, sir.
Farsa and Purify.
Oh, they pick up the Boxia roam here.
There it is.
Yep.
Oh no, it's Valentina.
Yep, they pick up the Valentina. I think they're seeing this Xborg pickup and really want to get that last Insanity, which honestly kind of works against SRG.OG's draft. I mean, like, hey, we doubted the Valentina before, right?
So if not burst, sheer initiative. You
Yep.
just out tempo your trio
Be
mid
very macro.
and just okay.
Interesting decision from ONIC Philippines. So they're like literally biting SRG.OG. Okay, go for it. You pick Xborg. Last Insanity for us also. And there's a question. For whom it's better?
Imagine we're setting up and they don't even pick up the Xborg. Like, just imagine, right?
Well, there's a chance they don't because it's so obvious now.
Yeah, right? Because of the Valentina. Now they got to think about it. And they pick up the Joy instead. Not an amazing matchup here. Not a great draft for the Joy.
Confirm 2 things to steal, right? Easy pickings, AOG, or freely unlocked electrifying beats.
Oh, it's so hard to say which draft I like more. I would like to say ONIC Philippines. If we see Xborg, I maybe would say like SRG.OG, but for now, ONIC Philippines.
Well, either way, right now is match point for SRG.OG. Can ONIC Philippines extend the series? Thank you very much, gentlemen Leo, as well as Destroyer. And right now for game number 4, Brigida and Mirko.
Thank you so much, and we are at match point for SRG.OG, 1 win away before they get a chance to head into the grand finals once more. We'll see how it goes as they decide to lock in the Joy for their last pick, even up against this kind of lineup. But the question lies too in, could ONIC PH pull off a successful Fredrin utility draft as well in this kind of situation? Do you feel like it could still be a comfortable game for King Kong despite the presence of the Selena, despite the presence of the Gato Kacha and all that?
That's a great question, Brig, and it really comes down to the players to answer it, because at this point, the thought of glory, once again reliving the glory from the past of MSC 2024 lingers over SRG, as ONIC Philippines are the one placed in a tough spot. Yes, the blue side has had a 100% win rate, so by statistics, ONIC Philippines, they've gotten themselves a pretty good chance, but it's SRG in Riyadh. That's like home turf.
They just look like they're so much in shape right now, even in terms of the way they're able to outpace ONIC PH overall, even though we've known ONIC PH to be one of the teams who have been always that consistent team when it comes to the patterns, when it comes to the rotations, and they, yes, forced out a flicker out of Innocent, but that's all that matters right now, literally keeping him safe and in the game up against Kellera, who's been managing the lane pretty well. But looking at the emblems real quick, Okay, that's Stormy does seem like he does want to keep the pace going for Sekai's, and they just want to be the ones first to rotate out, and that's what they plan to do as they get control over the river for a majority of the part of this game. And that's something that does sound very achievable for them, considering that they're on the Gatot Selena. Oh, but wait. Yeah, Keller, he looks mad.
Yeah, after what SRG did to them last game, after the Bruno strong side pick.
Yep.
Definitely is mad, is able to win out the lane. No flicker as well on Innocent, so that's going to be a big problem later on. Stormy with the flicker out already. Doesn't land the Abyssal Arrow, and King Kong's able to get the damage done. Turtle, definitely prio for ONIC.
Yep. They're paying so much attention to Phoveus, which I feel is another question we have to look at later on. How are they going to make use of this hero? But here comes the fight.
Cram with Dark Wave in the back line with a flicker as well. Now pops into Vengeance. It's King Kong with a win in the retreat battle. First blood to ONIC Philippines. And it's a big bonk to Cram. Kirk gets the kill. 2-0 to start the game. An invade. And the Turtle, they've gotten everything. And Stormy, not even given the chance to recall.
That's probably the first answer we're getting in this game. There might be some bit of struggle for Cram. He did flicker in, decided to go for the Dark Wave, surprise ONIC PH, but they were ready. Even Kellera made it to the fight, interestingly, even without the SOD landing. So it was literally ONIC PH just deciding to brute force their way through that fight, and I feel like that in essence is what they could be capable of, considering the kind of lineup they have. This is a Fredrin and the Baksha. So you have enough tankiness to deal with everything and ability in terms of the Valentina too. Oh, but Kellera!
What a read by Youngs. Just holding that bush, and it's another kill in the bottom lane to SRG. That's what you get when you don't go for Purify up against a comp with the Selena, right? Like, once you get Chain CC, there's absolutely no way you get out of the Abyssal Arrow. Brusco's doing a pretty good job at stopping the wave from crashing into the turret, but it will end up hitting. I think it should still be Kellera making it in time.
No.
Oh, now he has to go and use that SOD.
Yeah.
All right, so he gets it, does a little bit of damage to Innocent, but he loses a lot of gold, and Innocent is now in the lead.
That's not to mention that he's already 101. He has a kill, he has an assist, and he did get a decent amount of energy shields down bottom. So if SRG get to allow Innocent to snowball again, then that's like one out of the many things that they get to take off their list in terms of how they're able to activate their entire lineup in this game. And so far, so much pressure has been placed on the gold lane. They're literally making things so much more difficult for Kellera to dominate the way he usually dominates his lane. And now he has to rely on the SOD in order for him to catch up and get a bit of assists here and there. But SRG.OG are the ones holding the turtle right now. What is going to be the plan? Oh, there goes the AOG.
Oh, but King Kong is still able to get the Retribution down. Now as Brusco pops into point sounds, and Kirk does a lot of damage with the current call. SOD lands in the back line as well. Super Prince steals it like to my beat. That's going to be Kellera in the midst of it all. What? Jumps in, flickers back, spear, and Misery pinning Cram down to get a kill. And again, it's ONIC Philippines who take the lead away from SRG and died from Prince. This could be a solo assassination. One more basic attack. Oh, Sky's able to escape the outplay as Kirk falls, trying to zone SRG away. Kellera, can he get this turret? That is going to be the turret falling, but Innocent is walking up with Rhapsody. Prince looking for the play as well. Good spear of Misery. Kellera dodging away and will be able to pick up the kill on Innocent, although it will be traded back through Skull. Shield, Unity, over to Stormy, who's able to dash, but Super Prince has stolen away the ult of the Selena. Dodges, no, gets hit by it. Stormy gets out.
Even when ONIC PH were forced to split up, or I feel like they weren't even forced to split up. They decided themselves that they were going to split up and go after certain members of SRG.OG all by themselves, and it's interesting to see that it still worked in the end for them. Super Prince did such a great job managing the members in the backlines, managing Sekai's even all by himself on this Joy. Fortunately, just lacked a single more basic attack to take him down, but even other than that, in the previous fight which happened in the Turtle Pit, ONIC PH, with the amount of crowd control sustained that they have, were effective enough to isolate away a single member. And so even during that moment wherein we felt that Kellera might have just used the SOD in a not so good spot, was actually able to still survive, reposition, and also help in taking down that one isolated member that ONIC PH had. So they just have to keep this pace. They have to keep this sequence going so they're able to make use and maximize their lineup more, because like ONIC PH essentially, maybe that's one of the strengths of their lineup. Like they don't necessarily rely on each other too much, and they can do plenty of things even by themselves, even when no one's really paying attention to where the other members are.
Again, yeah, so individual plays. Kirk has gotten hit by 2 of those missile arrows. Shield Unity with a taunt now, locking Cram down, giving the Dark Wave, not landing. King also wins the retreat battle. Despite his own away, Yums caught in the bad spot. Now Kelra with the SOD landing it and finding a way to enter the fight. That's a Spear of Misery to pin Cram down yet again. And ONIC Philippines are keeping the lives of Game 5 up and running.
Yep, they're still staying in this game. They do not want to hand over the win just like that. They've done it twice. They've won against SRG.OG twice, even way back in M6, and they do not want to get or allow that revenge to come in anytime soon. So we did mention the entire idea about individual plays and ONIC PH being good at that. But even when, or especially when, you let them play like this together and set up the tempo for themselves, it's also going to work well. Oh, Sekai's so close.
This from an angle, King Kong into the corner to turn it there. By the Abyssal Arrow as well, but he's still able to survive somehow. Yums though won't be able to. Prince steals away. Selena all dashes towards the arrow and doesn't get hit.
I mean, that's one of his signature heroes, so in a way he still gets to use it. I think that was a surprise in the draft 2 earlier, like he didn't, or they didn't necessarily prioritize the Selena.
They saw the Selena and Prince was like, Coach, I want to play Selena.
In any way I can.
In any way, and why not? It's like, sure, here's the Valentina, you can now play Selena.
I mean, even now, he got the Granger. This was something he did way back too. He got the Granger ult with the Valentina and used the Death Sonata. He got the Moskov ult in the previous game on the Valentina and just surprised everyone. So he's just capable of doing all these surprises on the Valentina, but oh wait, King Kong!
Uh-oh, a taunt over to the back, now the Retribution as well, dodging away for the Dark Wave, getting another taunt of the Shield Unit, he locks him down, and Kelra finds a killing spree. Holy Shield propped in up top. Prince again steals away the Death Sonata. 1-2, are we gonna get a third shot? There you go.
Yes, the answer is yes. Super Prince just doesn't fail to surprise and entertain us whenever he gets his hands on the Valentina. And so he has, what, how many options now? Because he hasn't even been getting the AOG. It's been mostly the Death Sonata or that Selena from Stormy. Like, maybe Sekai's could even be one of the best options if you would propose, but Super Prince, the way he's playing this Valentina is just so interesting. Now it's going to be a free objective going to the hands of ONIC PH. And this all happened in 9 minutes in the game. So once again, it's another case of being very efficient in using the Fredrin, as mentioned by our panelists earlier, the face of utility junglers.
Fredrin is him right now. Like the Baksha is kind of like, I think he's fallen off quite a bit. I think maybe because of the hot fix that changed his defenses. Yeah. He's now much more squishy. So even with the poisons, even with the damage reduction, you kind of have to rely on snowballing early to be the tank that you are. Fredrin on the other side, he relies on himself, yo. He's a Chad. He's a, like, just like King Kong, he's a Sigma male, you know? He just does his own thing, sustains over. And ONIC, they've done a good job at managing the waves up top as well. Kirk holding his own against Skies. This actually might be an electrifying beats used by Skies. He's going to continue to chase Kirk. The Skies, yeah, has to go all the way back to recall.
King Kong used his Retribution earlier though, but it seems like they still have other ways to potentially set things up. Oh wait, nice Abyssal Arrow.
Yeah, but it's going to an amazing disengage. Crab going to be taken down there by King Kong. Walked up way too aggressively. Fridge steals the Death Sonata again. And now it's going to be King Kong locking Stormy down. Kelra with a mega kill. Leaving a Spear of Misery, able to get it on Skies. And it's Frizz with a splash. What? The piercing damage. Kelra got the kill on Innocent through the crystal. And now it's Yums. An AOG stolen. Not even landed. Kelra with a triple. And ladies and gentlemen, in the Amazon Arena, we're getting a Game 5.
We are going all the way for our first semifinals today. Man,
it's your fault.
It's their fault. It's everyone's fault at this point. You know what? If ONIC PH seemed like they lacked range, maybe the constant IMU Death Sonata was the way. for Super Friends. I don't know anymore. I'm just trying to make up theories for why he gets all these unique ultimates, but
Coach, I want to play Granger.
I want to play Granger, I want to play Selena. Like, and it's working.
And he played Gatot earlier too, last play.
So I'm not entirely sure if you still want to ban the Selena or the Valentina for Super Friends in this case, because like there are just so many potential pickups that could really change the flow of the game, and we've literally changed the flow of the entire series. So let's hear what our panelists have to say about game number 4.
Thank you very much, Brigida, as well as Mirko. It couldn't happen any other way. It had to go all 5 games, but this one with SRG.OG losing, the real question is, SRG saw the counter matchup. So why? You pick up the Phobias into the CC. You pick up the Joy against the Fredrin. These are things that they themselves has utilized. So the question is, why?
I don't think it's as simple as the lane to lane. Again, these two teams are the best of the best. MSC champions, M6 world champions. They understand that the draft individually is not as big as some of their parts. So I think it really comes down to the fundamentals. Because again, look at ONIC now. They did not check the box for full burst, right? But they got trio mid priority. That's the story of Super Prince's Valentina. I'm convinced that this man is a savant. He's a maestro when it comes to playing this hero. He plays it in his sleep, I reckon. But for SRG.OG though, look at this lineup. It's the opposite. It's the complete opposite. It plays individually. It plays, all right, we just make sure that this happens. Da, da, da. Even that Joy pick at the last moment, like that was something we were even questioning.
Joy last pick, a lot of questions. Because, yeah, I understand from one side you don't want the last insanity to your opponents, but you see like two big front laners, like the utility jungler, you see the Boxer, and you understand like CC will be on the front line. And yes, it's like the perfect pick for Xborg. Yeah, and from the opposite side, Valentina. Yes, but you overload her. Anyway, you got Selena, you got Gatot Kacha, even Death Sonata with Granger. So a lot of opportunity to steal, but it's more priority for you, and you don't use it.
The Valentina here doing over 5,000 damage per minute. Super Friends really doing a lot with this Valentina. So I kind of feel like whatever he picks up as of now can no longer be questioned because he's the monster mage.
His use of the Valentina defies all preconceptions about the hero. About how, oh, there's got to be 1 or 2 big ticket ults. Oh, you have to still apply, you know, the principles of drafting. Like there has to be some level of burst elsewhere. This is a lane bully, so your side lanes have to be... No. You don't understand. This is Super Princess Valentina. It's built diff, and that's one of the things now we have to consider. Maybe even SRG.OG, this might have put the fear of God into them, because now you only not see blue side win a lot. Not only must you ban the Yusun Shin, the Lancelot, the Selena, like these things are still true. You just have to add that. You have to respect Super Princess Valentina.
You can't make that kind of bans. I mean, yes, you have to respect, but you can't ban it. You need to make the priority for the other heroes, maybe potentially the options when Valentina can't steal the buttons from you. But also, if you make this priority, you're like shooting in your leg, because you're making yourself less resources that you can use.
This is how high stakes competition gives you questions, and you got to give the answer, because we started with the best of 5. Now, essentially, this is a 500,000 USD best of 1. Every pick, every ban, there's money in stake for that one. So, honestly, if I was SRG.OG, I would consider that Valentina ban, because you don't want to go into a situation where when you lose, and then afterwards you're like, we should have banned it.
You're right. Now going into the next draft, one must consider what are the mid lane priorities for SRG now. Number 1, ban the Selena. Number 2, put a Farsa or something onto Stormy. Come the turnaround, because we now know that ONIC PH like to put Super Friends in 4 and 5, regardless of blue or red. Ban the Lo Yi, because that's something that you gotta respect too. And then also just ban the Valentina, because usually what do we see alongside that Lo Yi ban, right? We last saw a Novaria ban.
And it a fair miss.
But yeah, you saw that match, right? You saw that match with the game with Team Spirit. It took ONIC almost 20 minutes to try and get that matchup, that team comp online. So it's very risky to play the Novaria. I don't think it's as good as it is.
You know, you mentioned like one Loi, one Selena, and then I just one Yushunshin. So you don't have that amount of bans. That's the problem. You need to understand what's the priority for you, and that's the thing that I asked to make SRG.OG the previous time. When you see the first pick, okay, I just asked do the same. If it worked, go again Farsha and go again Kalia. It's okay. It's a priority pick for you.
So maybe that's the reason why they lost. The Kalia finally got banned out. So without the Kalia, now they're like, okay, we gotta go back.
Sorry, Fred and Farsha, yeah.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, this is going to be the final time they draft against each other, and we all expected this. Saying this is going to go all 5 games was not a hot take. But now, I feel like the fans in the audience, I feel like even they're feeling it for this one. They're like, this could go either way. No matter what happens, we just got to accept the result.
I think by game 3, they already felt whatever this is, whatever that hot feeling down in the bottom of your stomach was. They've been feeling it since game 3, even game 2. Because I'll tell you now, folks, being in that very same arena as a fan yesterday, as I watched ONIC Philippines versus Team Spirit, it is unmatched. There's nothing quite like it. So when they put people on camera, when you see those reactions, you see but the tip of it.
And you know, now I understand when you said it's more hard to stay at the venue.
Oh, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard.
Yes.
Exhausting, draining.
Right now I understand because it's like a roller coaster. My team won, lost. It's like a match point for everyone.
These folks right here, look at that.
I mean, like, for me, my blood pressure gets high. My throat is out of it. I have no more voice after all that screaming. Heck, one time I wanted to puke. That's how intense the emotions was.
You need to live off the momentum. Right now, right here. It's the last time when you're cheering for your team. I speak with the audience, definitely.
By the way, just saying, this is just the first semifinal match. We got another one after this. So for all the ONIC folks, there's one more ONIC you're going to be watching right after this. This is insane. Like, this feels like such a long series, and it's just the first one.
But luckily, unlike the RRQ SRG match yesterday, these go quick. Like, if you lose,
oh yeah,
it's like a chess match. Like, all right, I made a mistake right here. Let's just wipe it. Let's do it again. Game 2. All right, let's do it again. Game 3. Let's do it again. Game 4. Might this be the outlier? Might Game 5 be the one that went as long as the Team Spirit matches go to 18, 19, 20,
30,
touch the tip of 30.
minutes.
Could it be this?
I hope so. Because, you know, the last game should be the most emotional. You need to express the feelings. You need to feel it. Like all the emotions that was charging, and just blowing up.
Destroyer sounds like these are demands. We're expecting too much of the game. I think we just need to make sure that the teams draft well enough so it's not a stomp.
Yeah, it's really like the team's just edging the folks here. But yeah, going into the draft, I kind of feel like this is one of those points where, as a fan, for me, I'm not going to be questioning it. It's like, you know yourselves very well, you know the opponents very well. You went 5 games against them, well, 4 games against them. So whatever happens, happens, which is a good and a bad feeling, because at one point you're trusting the team, but at the same time you kind of feel powerless.
No matter what happens, hearts break.
No matter what happens, hearts break. We're just like about a minute away from the draft starting here. I don't know. I have nothing to ask at this point.
SRG's gonna go blue, right? It's gotta be.
They should.
SRG.OG gonna go blue. ONIC gonna go red. And I'd like for at least this universal truth to remain a truth going into Game 5. ONIC is comfortable in red. What's been going on? Like, they've been making funky choices in the series so far. So hopefully they come back to their senses, time travel, restore settings to how they were in the peak of MPL Philippines Season 14, Season 15, and do good in red.
I just want to wait and to see the draft, you know? I'm so excited. I feel like it's the moment of truth, because the two champions, they're facing each other, and it's 2-2, the decisive map. That's all on the line.
Well, folks, I gotta say, For the people who were anticipating this match, I feel like they got their money's worth because it shows the best out of both teams. We've seen the best of SRG.OG, we've seen the best of ONIC Philippines, and now to end out the show here, what's the final match going to be? What's the final game going to be?
I could not think of a better way to spend your Saudi weekend. It's a Friday afternoon here in lovely Riyadh in the Boulevard, and in the cool halls of our arena is the place to be. Right here, right now, these two teams are going to compete in a contest for that very trophy, for the livelihood, for the sake of their key. Their key gets crushed after this.
Oh yeah.
There's no turning back.
Starting from the knockout stage, we saw a lot of keys crashed. So much pain when you understand that this is your key or your favorite team.
Their game, their decision making has to be flawless, like Super Prince's face here. This young man, he's handsome. He's more handsome when he plays the Valentina. Are we gonna see it? That's the question. Are we gonna even see his heroes?
The precision has to be there, and like you said, absolute perfection is needed by all 10 players of this game.
Porcelain.
You know, not absolute perfection. Yeah, I want to see absolute cinema, like you call it, guys. Not you, okay. Like it's called by Kid Bomba.
And now SRG is going over for blue side first pick here. ONIC Philippines betting out the 1-1. SRG.OG still respecting Super Prince on that Selena, instantly batting it out. Will they ban out the Lancelot here, making sure that King Kong doesn't get his hands on that hero?
1-1. From the right side, I expect also Yushun Shin. From the left side, Selena, instant ban. And I think they want to prioritize Kalea for themselves again.
Zushin also. Expect Zushin to get banned out real quick.
There's a lot here. The Lancelot, the Jushin, even the Fanny gets banned out by SRG.OG. It looks like they're going to ban out the Lancelot. So the first two bans are relatively the same. And the Yusun Shin is still a permanent ban here coming in from second pick. So the last two bans here is going to be crucial. This is going to be the $500,000 US ban.
Or divided just 100,000.
Yeah. It's either 500K or 150K.
So there is the difference. And funny, the last ban. I still don't like it, but okay. It's the priority from the Coach Arcadia and SRG.OG, and the last ban is Kalea actually.
So
yeah, again, that's what they did in game number 4, and it proved successful.
So what does that leave SRG with now?
Jushin.
What's the opener?
Or take away the CC again.
Phovius?
Less on the Phovius. I feel like Jushin is there. If they want to pick a Fred, maybe. But again, could be countered. I feel like the safest one is Jushin.
Or CC.
Or CC.
That's the option, but maybe just lock in Granger. No, it's CC. If I hear it right. Yes, it's CC.
So the other side can go...
They could go Fred if they want.
Granger, Fredrin.
Yeah.
Farsa.
Farsa
Fredrin.
Farsa Fredrin. So we see like the compositions should be built around Fredrin, right? Or maybe you got any other options?
I mean, like considering the junglers that are open now, Fred, Joy, as well as the Hayabusa. Unless either junglers has a Hayabusa in their pocket for game 5, we're going to be seeing early Fredrin.
Yeah. They do. I'm pretty sure Sekais and King Kong aren't shy to play the Hayabusa. It's just, these are better right now. There's a Zushin showing face for what seems to be forever. And the Fred.
We were talking about mid-trio prio. Fred and Jushin. It doesn't get more prio than that. Like, you can fight at any moment. This is a dangerous opening coming in from ONIC Philippines.
You fight at level 2.
You fight at level 2, exactly.
Constant damage, a lot of sustain, and yes, it's a good pick. It's a really good pick. But from SRG.OG, right now, what should they pick? I think about Farsha. Okay, if you don't pick Farsha right now.
Or Luyi.
Or Luyi. Yes, it's a good pick also.
Yep. Picking up the Farsa and the Akai here. So for the final game, looks like a possibility. Not confirmed. Possibility, utility going up against utility here. Haven't seen a lot of Akai for Skies. Got to see how it performs in this game.
Also, again, could be a coin flip into the roam.
Yep.
Humes could step on a clutch and suddenly, depends on how ONIC's draft goes so far here. We've already changed a few of the priorities. Again, for the first time in a while, Super Prince gets his pick in the first phase.
Yep.
So do you go Granger now?
They should. But actually, should they? Because they got first ban and then they will pick right after the second
Right.
phase. So I think the priority should be for the X-Plane and
Oh my
it's
God.
Badang.
Super duper prio. Like, you just punish so hard.
And very flex, because I believe in the previous matchup it was the Badang going up against the CC, which Badang won.
Yep. So Kirk does have a Badang in him. So we don't know. That's what's scary here for SRG. So what can happen is ONIC can hold this out. They can take this to the grave, meaning pick 5. They'll never know where the Badang goes up until the end.
I like Badang being from the side that ONIC Philippines put SRG.OG in the position when they should think like, okay, is Badang X-Plane or is it Badang going Rome? And there is the variety of the bans. But from the other perspective, you know, they got a kite, SRG.OG, I mean, and potentially you can help the opponents to lock down.
I gotta say, this opening trio coming in from ONIC Philippines, if this Badang is going to the Rome, they could really fight at any moment, because the Badang can initiate very well. And despite his role, you know, either EXP or Rome, despite building tank, he does a lot of damage.
Especially since SRG's picks, a good majority of them, if we're already seeing the jungle here, are going to be softies.
Yeah. Akai is definitely not the tankiest when it comes to the picks in the jungle. Now the Arlet gets banned out. ONIC Philippines is pretty convinced that this Akai is going over to the jungle, banning out the Gatot. I wonder what else will they ban out, because so far I'd say Humes only used the Kalia and the Gatot.
I also think about the Cho ban. What do you think about it?
One of his signatures, we haven't seen it in a while.
Yes.
Yep.
And I don't know who you kick at this point.
No good kicks right
You
now.
don't want to kick the Badang, you don't want to kick the Frederick, and I don't think you can kick the Jushin.
Especially since we know she's going to be rocking the Purify most likely. There's a Matilda ban. 2 roamers taken out.
Yep.
For ONIC Philippines in the last phase of the draft. They're digging deep, like they're really just choking out Humes here.
And the last decision, SRG.OG. So, I think Granger, they should ban it. Because then, after that, they can exchange of the gold. Like, okay, you take the Moscow, we take Bruno, we take
I'm
something
smelling Harith.
Harith?
Because it's okay against the Farsaf. Farsaf at the S-Right, you open up the Zaman Force and then she's scared out of it, you know?
Yep.
But, you know, they ban on the Ruby, making sure that kind of forcing this Badang to go EXP if they want to match up against the CC.
They want to understand the clear initiation. Like, Badang, okay, but if ONIC Philippines got, for example, Ruby or Arlot plus Badang, you know, there is double opportunity for different kind of initiation.
I'm impressed that neither team actually banned anything in the gold lane. They're really just opening it up for half-man, half-beast of the gold standard. Here's the Granger. We saw it coming, like it was definitely even one of those first pickables in red. Now what does Innocent get here?
Go Bruno again. Is that the option? Just went out super early and then translates to a win?
Yeah, no, you want something that has a early power spike or something that doesn't care. So even the...
I just got one thing. Don't pick Moscow, please. It's just the question for...
Stats will tell you yes. But also I was going to say Harith. Harith's fine.
Harith is fine. It's kind of good, I would like
what
to
is
say.
Claude here?
Okay.
There's the old pick for Humes. Where have you been?
One of the signatures, but again, not a lot of options. Like, he really has to show the mastery here to make it work.
ONIC PH are locking and loading their purifies. It's going to matter.
And the last pick,
Bruno.
Bruno.
Yep, it is
so
that Bruno.
they actually want to win early game.
Yep.
They want to push their opponents super hard. And the Chu is a good decision.
Yep, that is mid-game initiative for SRG's rotating kill squad. ONIC PH, they got one more. The jig is up. We know where this Badang is going, and it's in Rome. The Phoveus reveals itself.
We saw in the previous matchup, not good against the CC, but Destroyer, final thoughts.
Just because of the Cho last pick and the good composition that I see from SRG.OG, I want to make a prediction that they gonna win. but I also like the ONIC Philippines draft.
I'm all in for ONIC, man. They're the reason why they picked that Phoveus last.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. We're going to the final game of this semifinal series. Brigida and Mirko, good luck for this one.
Thank you so much. We definitely needed that. This has been such an interesting take in the draft. Smart moves, mind games everywhere as they draft for the most crucial game that'll either make them stay or will be the cost of their end, of their journey's end here in MSC at EWC 2025. Welcome to the final game in this series between SRG.OG and ONIC PH. Will SRG finally get their revenge? Or will ONIC prove once again why they're the reigning champions of the world? What are your thoughts on the final draft, Mirko?
Oh, that's a tough question. You really put me on the spot. The Fredrin's great. I liked it. I thought there was going to be a setup for the Arlet Red 3, but they instead picked up the Badang, and then we got to see why.
Yep.
They really shut Yums down, forced him to play on the Cho, a hero that we haven't seen him on for a while. Yes, we kind of know him for Cho. He's played Cho before as well. MSC 2024 was Crazy Run, SPS 2. But this tournament, I don't remember seeing any crazy plays for Yums on Cho. So I think that could be, you know, again, an angle that ONIC Philippines took with the Badang pick instead of the Arlet. Then they proceeded to ban Mathilda and got that again, taking away his picks.
Everything
else worked for SRG. So it really is about putting Yums into his uncomfortable spot, and also Skies.
Yeah.
A guy.
Because even the panelists mentioned it. If ever the Cho does come out, who do you even want to go for?
Exactly.
In ONIC PH's lineup, you'd have to be very picky about who you decide to use the Way of the Dragon on. And even if you do get to land a kick, you definitely have to have Stormy by your side, because that's where majority of the damage is going to come from. Innocent will have to take a bit more time before he gets to deliver in terms of damage. And that's another thing. You don't see how well coordinated or the idea of the combos between the lineups or the pairings in SRG.OG's draft so far is gonna work. But that's a mini skirmish before the turtle fight, so let's see who gets the advantage in this first objective of the game.
Yeah, good poke earlier to Cram. Now Super Prince going to be caught in the mid lane. Still able to get level 4 in time. Pops in the Lancer Flare on Yums. Skies has the heavy spin. Kirk has the Vengeance, actually. Dark Wave already used up. Now going to go for the pick, and it will be on Skies. That's going to be the in front of Pursuit coming down. Still a red tree win for Skies, but their airstrike and the curtain call locking him down as Kirk doesn't survive this battle. Stormy picks up the first blood. Brusco caught in the top spot. Yums walks back up. It's a double! Away the Dragon as he flickers forward. Kelra walking into the fight again. A beautiful taunt as well. Cram thrown back into turret range. Friends with the Crimson Beacon. Now trying to turn things around, but it will end at a 2-for-2.
So many things didn't land, miscoordination from ONIC PH, and you see the knockups and the interruptions coming in too well for SRG.OG. That heavy spin which just prevented everyone else from coming in, and that two-man knockup coming in from Yums. So essentially, maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be all on the Way of the Dragon. It's in the way Yums could just literally destroy and break the tempo for ONIC PH here, because that's what we saw in that particular fight. And even that missed flicker combo from Brusco, that meant a lot, because Stormy was just too free. Stormy's 2-0 on this Farsa, and that's not going to be too good if you're ONIC PH.
And you can really see, I would say, Kirk struggle a bit in that team fight. Yes, he has the Vengeance. He knows he's going to be pinned down a lot of times, but I think we would expect the Phoveus to do a bit more in Turtle 1. He was just completely nailed down to the ground, and SRG didn't really feel the pressure of the Phoveus.
It did seem like Kirk and Cram had a battle of their own. Because the way that Brusco actually put the wall down in that turtle fight was kind of like some sort of way to isolate these two guys, but Cram had easier ways to work around these kinds of obstacles. Like Cram can just bounce here and there. You could just say the same for Kirk, but so long as no one gets to really proc, or as long as he doesn't get to proc this passive, then it's gonna be a bit more difficult for him to do that. So ONIC have to be mindful of this upcoming fight, because SRG SRG, they just have so many tools to ensure that they'll get the objective freely for themselves.
And both of them want to fight for this. They both want to go for it. Yums with the G-Kundo canceled out. No way to drag and follow up. There's a curtain call. Will lock King Kong down. Still, Skies baited in. Kirk going in front of pursuit again. And Skies popping in the heavy spin early. Super Prince popping in a Crimson Beacon. Kirk getting the Dark Wave in the back. And now it's going to retreat battle. Won by Skies somehow. It's a taunt for Yums. Kelra gets the kill. Stormy with the killing spree. Back again as Brusco goes for the pin down on Skies. But it's Cram to get the kill. Stormy with the flicker forward. Trying to go for the stun. Kelra kiting away. And it is a ruthless battle back and forth.
There wasn't even much damage from the Appraiser's Wrath just yet. SRG.OG just stood right in front of it, but it's a good thing for ONIC PH that even Kelra was able to join in that fight. He's currently 2-0-1 on the Granger, but you could say the same for Innocent. Innocent has been providing so much more damage than we expected him to, even when he needs to take a bit more time on the Bruno. And that's going to be a problem for ONIC PH because I feel like even Innocent just through the worldie could save himself a lot of times. And now, oh, that's so aggressive! Look at SRG.OG! They're just working around their key members so well.
The key member this game has been Stormy. The mid lane for Selangor Red Giants OG Esports from the first fight. That feathered airstrike landing on crucial targets, getting the damage done. Even when it's cancelled by Brusco, he's already gotten most of the damage out. Yums, great position. Brusco with a pin down now. Super Prince pops in the Lancer Flare. King Kong tries to go to chain CC him, and Stormy is right there with the taking. Feather airstrike canceled out instantly by Super Prince going for the Crimson Beacon in the skies. Pops in heavy spin to go and defend, putting everyone away from Stormy.
That was a lot of damage from this 4-0 Farsa. You have to admit it. You saw just how ONIC PH literally scrambled after that. It was already surprising enough to see Super Prince go in with a Crimson Beacon blindly in that bush, where there were several members of SRG.OG waiting for him, and that could have been something potentially for them, but at least he was able to walk away, not even using the flicker. But I think that's another conversation too. At least for Super Prince, for Brusco, for Kelra, they do have their flickers. But when Kirk does put himself in a spot where he just decides to full commit and SRG.OG is just everywhere, he can't find a way to get out because he doesn't have the flicker. Oh.
Walking up into the heavy spin out. That's Nimi Skies winning the retreat battle. Oh, massive Dark Wave in front of pursuit to the back line now. Brusco goes for the fist crack and Super Prince continues to chase on. Innocent still kiting, free hitting. Kirk taken down. Super Prince now with the Crimson Beacon, able to kite away. Kelra gets one, but Innocent dishes out so much damage. It's Skies who picks up the kills. It's a double and that third turtle to Selangor Red Giants OG Esports.
3 consecutive turtles, 3 objectives that SRG.OG are just able to easily get their hands on. Emphasis on easily, just because of how useful this heavy spin is. And that's just one of the many things that makes all the objective takes a lot easier for SRG.OG. You have Humes also with a potential threat on the setups. And look at how this is, I feel, the second failed attempt from Brusco to find a setup, a counter setup on the Badang. And that's also all aside the fact that Innocent is once again untouched for majority of the team fights that we see happen in this game. So now that we look into that, where is the range gonna come from ONIC PH? Who is gonna deal with Innocent when they need to find a way to deal with him?
Kirk is 0-4-2. He cannot be the guy to walk up, but he is gonna walk up. Pops into Vengeance as well. Innocent just shredding through with the help of Stormy too. Kirk, no movement, gonna be taken down by Cram. And now it's ONIC Philippines on the back foot. Brusco, can he make the play? He actually walks up and gets kicked back all the way to the back, over to Stormy. Skies on a killing spree, and ONIC Philippines in shambles.
He wanted to go for something, but how unfortunate is it that you walk straight in front of Yums? Now that might be another setup. Yums gets to find the knockup on Kelra. Oh!
Heavy spin, bringing Kelra back all the way, and he does not have flicker. Stormy finds the shutdown, his 5th kill this game. That might send Selangor Red Giants over to a big win. Kirk forced to back away. That was a retreat by King Kong. That means this Lord is free. SRG can get it, and they can snowball their way to the base of ONIC Philippines.
We can't see the value of the Vengeance just yet. Kirk is having such a hard time performing in the EXP lane on this Phobius. Even with the presence of a Cho, even despite the presence of Bruno, even despite all that, it just feels that ONIC PH can't find the right way to make their lineup work together. So many conditions have to be met. And this is seemingly the complete opposite of what we saw from them in the previous game, where they were just able to make so many things happen all at once. Now it's SRG.OG with a 5k gold lead. Kelra at least is very close in terms of gold, actually even a bit ahead against Innocent. But that's only Kelra. That's only if you look at Kelra.
Only Kelra. The rest of them are all far behind. And I think most of the lead is on Cram. You can see the CC matchup against Phobius again. We already got to see it in the previous game. For Kirk, it was on the CC winning it out. And now ONIC Philippines fall to the strat that got them the win. Again, the CC against Phobius. It's a different approach, to be fair, right? It's a Phobius with vengeance. But that makes it a bit weird. You're an all-in hero now. You walk up, and if you don't get a kill, you're dead. Kill right in the back, forced to flicker out. The Lord charges in to the base, and it'll be Skies brought back by the Lantern Flare. Kirk now at half HP. Kelra walking back again. It's gonna conceal already. ONIC Philippines holding the base. The base turrets are all intact, but now the question is, for how long can they hold?
That's all ONIC PH has to do right now. Hold on to their base. Defend their base turrets as much as possible. Because SRG.OG, they're just so close to once again returning to the grand final stage. If they make it happen in this upcoming siege, another feathered airstrike already committed by Stormy. That's already a lot of damage onto Prince and Kirk.
Skies walks up a bit too aggressively and will get poked down. They have to play it slow. We've seen these kind of moments from ONIC Philippines when it looks like it's impossible to turn the game around. They suddenly click.
Yeah, it's that
and
one
they
moment.
Capitalize on those little mistakes. We saw it from the Spirit match yesterday. At Selangor Red Giants OG Esports, they have studied it. They know how to play discipline. This isn't their first rodeo. Going back again, resetting. We get a look at the damage dealt ranking that is just led by Stormy on this Farsa. Such a monster. 2 times he's been able to zone Kelra, take him out of the fight before ONIC Philippines can even do anything about it.
Yeah, and we had this entire conversation about Fredrin being the face of utility junglers, but you know what? The way SRG.OG are pulling this off, the Akai jungler consistently securing the objective, securing the turtles, and Stormy just feeling like that guy who just enables everyone, or maybe is even the guy everyone tries to play around in the early stages of the game. It just allowed SRG.OG to arrive at this point in the game, and they can focus their attention to other members now, definitely on Innocent a bit more, because Innocent too is looking to be online. I don't think he's had to use the Purify at all yet in this game. Oh, Skies goes for the pin down.
With a heavy spin already over to King Kong, he's still going to be able to take some shots, but Stormy gets the last one in. Lord not taken yet. Cram still has vengeance. It's a few shots over to him, but with no King Kong. That means ONIC Philippines will have to give this one away. And SRG, again, are getting closer and closer to making it back to where they were just a year ago.
King Kong, that was the first time he died in this game, but that was such bad timing. If you're ONIC PH, SRG.OG, as you've mentioned, they've been wanting to get revenge on ONIC PH. After so long, they are yet to win against this team every single time they meet.
Prince.
Oh, but another heavy spin!
Again, Skies walked up with a heavy spin. There's no Lord. They baited out some big resources, ONIC Philippines. And it might be a case of SRG being too quick with it. Those are some really crucial resources to go for the siege. They could have gotten more than one base turret, but now they have to be happy with just one.
Yep. ONIC PH have a lot of time to work on this Lord, on this objective. Oh, but there was an attempt. Feathered airstrike. Yums could have also looked for a setup, but at least got revealed just in time as they used the conceal. So as you've mentioned, ONIC PH clearly still holding on. We're 14 minutes into this game. There's a lot of catching up to do when you look at the other matchups, when you look at the other heroes and players here for ONIC PH, but everything looks good. If you look at Kelra, King Kong just a bit more behind in time, in terms, or if you look at him in comparison to Sekai's, but at this point, we're transitioning into that part of the game where it's just really going to matter on how you're able to serve as the front, how you're able to use those crucial energy eruptions, set things up for your team. Everything is, it's gonna have to rely on Kelra.
It's all on Kelra. We've seen him pull off masterful comebacks, clutch moments to turn things around against Spirit, against many other teams in the past, against RQ and SBS too, but now against the Red Giants, he's gonna need more than just a miracle, because you're right, Brig. It's just on Kelra. ONIC Philippines usually in a comeback, they have much more damage dealers. Here, they have one dude.
That's why I took my time. I've been trying to think of where else could the damage come from? Who else could they potentially rely on? Because you could expect Super Friends to be another layer of crowd control, another way to set up to find the knockups and certain members of SRG.OG, but not unless he does have the Sky Piercer too. We'll have to double check that later on. But it does feel like it's a bit more of a utility that Super Friends is serving right now in terms of ONIC PH's lineup. So how well could they protect Kelra? How well could they play around Kelra?
Lightning Truncheon for Stormy. That's going to help him in, again, those feather airstrikes. If he just finds one on Kelra, it's going to hurt him a lot.
Yep.
There's no respect from Kelra as of this moment towards Magic Defense. He knows, not even Wind of Nature, he knows he's the only guy here to deal damage. He needs to go Glass Cannon. That means he puts himself in a tough spot, but you've got to play with those little margins if you want to win a game like this. 8,000 gold behind against a composition that, by all means, outscale them.
Yeah.
Selangor Red Giants, OG Esports, are literally en route to making it back-to-back to an MSC Grand Final at the Esports World Cup.
You have to manage the waves. ONIC PH, they have so much to think about at this point in time. There's a wave up top, down bottom. And how do they enter this area? How do they make themselves seen in the Lord Pit?
Ooh.
That's a curtain call already committed by Cram though. So
The wave up top.
That's the thing.
No conceal too. They've already baited it out now. SRG should be able to go and force this out. Super Friends caught in the tough spot. Yum's already able to Kundo, and now Kelra makes his way back. Let's see if they can save this game. It's giving the heavy spin stolen away. Sky's in the back line still. King Kong gonna be kicked by Yums with the way of the dragon. That gives him all the space necessary. Kelra in the back doing damage. It is very low. Kelra still going for it again. Immortality down. Kelra against Yums. Another immortality down. And now it is just Kelra left to defend against 5 members of the Selangor Red Giants OG Esports crew. Kelra with a flicker forward. Innocent dodging away. Selangor Red Giants OG Esports against all odds stop their way to making it back to the MSC and Esports World Cup Grand Finals.
SRG.OG, they get their revenge against ONIC Philippines. And now they return to the grand final stage with that shot of being the